beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I am alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to the white light.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
Crazy evil.
What's up, people? Oh, I still have the rumble going in the background. That's distracting. What is up, people? Glad to be back with you all. It's been a while since I've done this. I feel like I'm rusty, like with the podcasting. It's been a week. If anything's off, any audio, anything like that, make sure to let me know. I don't know. This would be the time I would fuck something up. But I'm glad to be back with y'all. I know we're going a little bit early today. I just got back from vacation yesterday, so it's going a little bit early just because we got shit we gotta do. Gotta go get groceries, this and that. But yeah, we've had a good time. Man, I'm worn out from fun. Had a really great time, and we'll go through some more of that. Cool. I'm getting a good sound check. Everything's good. Okay, cool. Well then, let's just go ahead and get into the video. While we like our perfunctory video, our standard video that we do with this show, something a little bit fun to start off with, a little bit more pop culture, I guess you could say, for the show as opposed to the niche that we usually go into. While we wait for more people to come, so I found a fun little video. I thought this was interesting. Kind of reminded me of my Crowder days back when I was into that. Here we go. This right here, but I think what's this guy's name? Brandon Herrerra. I never really got too much into his content, but I know a lot of people really like him and say good stuff about him. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I don't mean that in any sort of bad way. I know he's more of like a gun content guy. That was never too much my jam. Every now and then I got into gun rights stuff for a while, but like, anyways. I got Brandon Herrerra here, and I think recently he ran for something. I forget what specifically it was, but I just thought this was an interesting video with him talking to Steven Crowder, kind of about AIPAC. And it's also kind of funny because it feels sort of like Steven's almost running a little bit cover for AIPAC while kind of trying not to, riding a weird line here while Brandon Herrerra is kind of being a little bit more of the based king. But let's go and watch this. I just thought this was interesting, and I feel like it kind of maybe puts in perspective what kind of role AIPAC really can play, even when you're really not even someone that's not even your issue, or something like that. So let's go ahead and play this.
Normally, if people know enough to know what AIPAC is, they're probably not a fan. I didn't know much about them, to be perfectly honest. I didn't know a whole lot about them before I ran for office, and they approached me. We had an interview, and I was just perfectly honest with them, and I thought we had a pretty decent rapport. And I don't know, I didn't really think anything of it. And apparently I didn't give them all the right answers they were looking for, because in a race where we were polling pretty good, we were actually polling fairly ahead. They came in the last 2 weeks and spent over $2 million against me.
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah. It was a 2-week ad blitz at the very, very end of the runoff election. And it ended up costing us, we lost by 4 votes. We would have won.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, I just want to point out, I don't know, maybe let me know if my internet's having any issue, but I do want to point out, because we're kind of in this inception zone here. That was actually, I know for sure that's Brandon's internet that's having issue. And then, so, that could even be doubled up if I'm having internet issues right now. I never know when it's happening because I'm tech retarded like that. But I just want to point out, that's not me, that's him, so I can't do anything for that. But anyway, just pointing that out. Also, I think you do got to stop every now and then for the whole copyright stuff. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because I don't think Brandon Herrerra, from my understanding, is particularly even big into the Israel, thing. So like, I think it was like a local race of some sort. So why the fuck would Israel even be a thing? And even still, that was enough to seemingly cost him his race. Let's keep
Say
going.
that the number again. Sorry, you jumbled the audio.
It was 407 votes. So if we had flipped 204, then we would have won. We lost by 1%.
Yeah, and that's
1%. That's what he lost by. So literally AIPAC was the difference.
and I always tell people, look, this has nothing to do with your position of if you want Israel to wipe every last member of Hamas off the face of the map. That's my position. But I hate AIPAC for the same reason I hate Act Blue. They give to Hakeem Jeffries, and they give to Cory Booker, and they have that kind of influence in a runoff where they don't have the same interests or values as people who may not realize the influence they have.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I went from not really knowing anything about them to knowing that, hey, you just spent a couple $1 million against me, cost me an election over something that I don't think that was pretty uncool. I'm going to have to do some more digging on you.
Yeah.
Pretty uncool. Now, this is part I thought was pretty funny because the tone of Steven changes, which I don't even really get. I don't know what Steven's trying to be right now. I don't know. He's in a weird place. He's riding a weird line. He seems to be like he's trying to straddle a line between the Shapiros and I guess like the Dave Smiths or something. But whatever, let's keep going.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Unfortunately, a lot of people on the right equate support for the idea of Israel, as a people, as a nation, with AIPAC, and it's not the same thing at all.
Absolutely.
Let's grab, and that's a very balanced view. And unfortunately, in the age of the internet, if you hold that, then people call you both a Nazi and a Jewish shill. So join the club.
They did, both, actually.
Yeah, I've gotten both in the same day from the same person.
But it was funny. I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. But in that exchange, it felt like Brandon was kind of like, well, maybe I'm going to look more into you. And like, I don't think he meant necessarily AIPAC, but I think he kind of almost was a wink, wink, like kind of look into like what all of this. What does this connect to? Because it is kind of, let's be real. You could say, oh, it's different, but it's like, let's be real. That's part of the funding mechanism. Like this is trickling out from Israel. This is a foreign aid group. So, I mean, it is kind of similar. Yes, obviously there's a difference between the people of Israel or whatever. But yeah, I mean, but Israel and it's as a government, I think that's kind of what he was getting at. But I don't know. There's this weird line that's run, but it almost seems like he was kind of pushing on something a little bit based. Then it felt like Steven maybe pulled it a little bit back. Maybe I'm reeling a little bit too much into that, but that's how that felt to me.
I've done it in the same post on X just to piss everyone off.
I got in the same phrase, you Nazi Jewish shill.
I don't.
What does that even mean?
Living oxymoron.
All right.
Nazi Jewish.
Yeah. It was more offensive to me than Jew fag because that was just funny.
It's a shill.
I also particularly like this video because I don't know why. I feel like I've called Steven Crowder a Jew fag on Twitter before. I don't know why, and to be honest, I have no problem with someone literally just for being a Jew. Like so like it isn't even like Ed. I don't even think he is. So it's not even like I was using it. It was just a funny thing to say, and I don't even remember what the context was, but I feel like I said it. And so there's a small part of me would like to think that perhaps I got under Steven's skin and he's thinking of me. I know he didn't, but I know it's probably one of like a million other dudes who called him a Jew fag. But I don't know. I just made me feel a little special, and I hope you're thinking of me, Steven.
I haven't called a Jew fag. I'm a large Jew.
Normally,
wait, is he Jewish? He did say at the end he's a large Jew, but it cut off, so I felt like he was playing. But I don't think Steven is. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if we did find out he was. But all right, guys, let's go say our good mornings. You guys have had enough time to roll in. I know we were going really early today, so sorry, it is what it is. But yeah, it should be enough time for you guys to roll into the chat. That way we can say our good mornings. Good morning, Andrew Jacobs. Says damn early on this one. For sure it is. Good morning, Poyu. See, it's good. I'm going a little bit earlier. I don't normally see you at these, Poyu. So I felt like I saw you more in these earlier ones. I was thinking going a little bit earlier might be nice too. See some of the old crowd that's not making it to the new when we moved up the time for summer, which we'll move it back probably here soon whenever the school year starts up. But Poyu is pointing out August 1st, a significant tour overlords this month. It might even get even crazier. We'll see. It's looking like that. I will say, I'll get into kind of a little bit tell you about my time, but I was really worried I was going to miss like a really eventful news cycle, but it kind of, I mean, maybe it was really eventful and it's just kind of because I wasn't there, kind of like a bias thing and I don't feel like it was, but looking at and kind of catching up on things, I'm like, yeah, there was a few things here and there, but wasn't nearly as eventful as I thought it was going to be. So it kind of works out well. So, but yeah, it does seem like it's, once again, though, I was worried about leaving for this week for vacation because it did feel like we were in like, it was cooking up. It was heating up. We were going to some interesting times, but it seemed like we got a little bit of a lull. And I think August is probably going to be pretty goddamn wild. It is August 1st. I did forget to tell you guys that with my normal introductory. See, I'm all rusty. I do my normal, hey guys, welcome to the No Way Jose podcast this morning. I don't even know what I did as intro. I probably fucked up the intro, didn't I? Whatever. We'll get back into the swing of things. But yeah, it is August 1st. Thanks for pointing that out, Pollo. I fucked up the intro. My bad. It is August 1st. I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Demon Hunter Bear. Good morning, Queen Calnads. Good morning, Mulgara. Good morning. Good morning. Mulgara saying he ran for Congress, accepted no money from AIPAC, and then AIPAC spent like $2 million against him. Yep. Good morning, Lawrence Morgan. Good morning. Good morning, Doc Tori. Good morning, Adrian Bwody. Mulgara says, finally got myself a physical copy of Mearsheimer's Israel Lobby. Cool. While I was on vacation, I read like probably maybe give or take a third of Program to Kill, so that was cool. I already did the audiobook of it, but I'm now doing the physical version. I don't know, I just on a whim was like, I'll read this on vacation. A little light reading. Which weirdly, I had an amazing time with my family, and then like any time when I just had time myself, I was reading the darkest fucking shit in the world. And then like going and being like, oh hey honey, let's go out to the beach. But yeah, see some of you guys. All right, guys. Let's let me guys know about my week. I'll just kind of, I don't know, for those who care, I feel like I went on a nice little vacation. I felt felt reinvigorated. It was a blast. So I put out a post when I got back, so I figured maybe I'd go through a few of the things with you guys to give some updates of what was going on. Because I asked you guys on Twitter, kind of like, hey, what the hell happened this past week as I was gone? Because for those who, a little bit of a catch-up too, maybe some of the YouTube audience might be a little bit confused, because I also, right before I went on vacation, I caught a YouTube strike, which I still need to sort out. Also to people like so have messaged me or whatever, this or that, I am going to try to I have so many things I got to catch up because I went on a cruise. I went on a cruise for almost a week. I had like no signal, and then boom, ding, 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 when I get back and get my phone, which it was nice to not have my phone, but it's also a bit of a nightmare when you turn it back on. You're like, oh, here's all these things I have to do, which, I mean, normally it's like, oh, cool, these are fun things, but when they're like way backed up, okay. But where was I even going with that? Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, we had a fun time of vacation. Back with you all. Where was I going? I totally had a point. Lost my track. But anyways, let's go through this post. I asked you guys to kind of let me know what's going on. Andrew, you told me that your dog died. Looking to me get a kitty cat. We'll get back to you. I saw your message. I've just been super busy. But I know you guys know I am a Kitty Cat Connect. So you guys, if you guys are someone out there looking for naked cats, you do probably want to hit me up. I can send you the right way. You'll probably end up talking to my wife because she's the one who does all the handling of the clients. But I mean, come to me first, and I'll get you to there. But yeah, Andrew, I'm sorry to hear about your dog. I know I told you even that we talked a little bit there. I lost my dog a while back, probably about 5 years ago or so. Odin. He was a big boy, and it played a big part in my kids growing up because they were little kids, and he was a big old mastiff and a sweet, sweet doggo, and they loved him. And I don't know, it's never been really the same since he's been gone, and so I've just had kitties since. Maybe one of these days to get a doggy, but I understand the loss of a dog. It is sad. DL Cummings told me that I guess there was some sort of blue jeans thing. I think that had something to do with, I did see little bits and pieces about that. I guess there was some thing with Sydney Sweeney and some like genetics or something like that. Like I guess they alluded to her genetics as what made her something, and so everyone's running with its Nazi propaganda, which maybe it is. Who fucking cares? It's a gene commercial. I don't care. Someone made a joke in here. Now Jacob here, he says the Pelosi Act was introduced, which will ban Congress from trading, which I actually had. Maybe we'll cover this tomorrow. I actually got rid of this, in lieu of other topics to cover because we got some catching up to do. There was I think Josh Hawley. I think Trump friggin' flamed him about this, which was wild. So I don't know. We'll have to. I feel like maybe there'll be more on that. Maybe we can get, not tomorrow, but maybe like Monday. I forget it's Friday. I'm not going to do another one of these this weekend. But yeah, YouTube's introducing ID verification. Jacob says that is true. They are doing that. I don't know. That's actually weirdly they slapped that on with my strike that I got right before all of this. I got that strike. And for those who aren't aware, because let's say you only watch me on YouTube and you just wonder where I went, all I did was put up a few minute promo. Those normal little, for those who watch Already Dead, we have that intermission. And I also then usually like a 3 to 5 minute intermission in between each, and then I usually release them as their individual little things for people who want to watch them alone. And it's also just kind of as a promotional thing for the show. And I put it out, and I put in the video description the name of the show for which it was, it was kind of made out of, because it's made out of clips and videos and this and that from the show. So put, for Already Dead, and, they flagged it once again, which we've been hit many, many times for this exact thing with the advocating for self-harm or some nonsense, which every single other time we've always gone, oh, it's always been annoying. Sometimes it's been like in the middle of a live stream for Already Dead, and they're like, oh, nope, now you're gone. And it's annoying, but whatever, not that big of a deal. We persevere. But this time, every other time we fight it, and they go, no, this is stupid, and they go, oh yeah, that is right, it's stupid, and it's just clearly they're just flagging it because of the name of the show is Already Dead, and so they somehow contrive their things flag some sort of self-harm, whatever, and that got dinged, and yeah, so now. So I put that out. It dinged it because it was in the video description. It said Already Dead, and I said, and I put I forget what's the word I'm looking for. I appealed it. I appealed the strike, and weirdly enough, almost immediately, and it's weird with YouTube. Sometimes they allow you to give an explanation in the appeals, and sometimes they don't. This time they did not. I got no chance to give any sort of description in the appeal. And then, so they almost immediately hit it back up and go, nope, this is a violation of the self-harm policy, although it had nothing to do with that. So whatever. I had a strike, wasn't able to stream for a week. Now we're back, although it is really whack because now I am far more, if I get another strike, I will anytime soon. Like, it means I'm like way more, essentially the Eye of Sauron is upon me right now. And this connects to ID verification because now I guess this is almost like, it feels like they're like waiting for channels to, once they get some sort of ding, then they go, you need an ID verification. Which is what I've seen on some social medias now where they'll be like, oh, you're doing this, that, we need to verify. And you're like, what's going on here? Which I don't really know I haven't done it yet. I don't know if I will do it. I need to look into it. As of right now, because essentially it's saying now you need to ID verify, but only ID verify to unlock certain things. It's weird. So I don't know if maybe it's going to be a rollout where later you have to have it and there's no other option. But for like example, right now it won't let me use hyperlinks in video descriptions on YouTube because I'm not ID verified. I mean, I guess that's not great for cross promotion. I don't know, not the end of the world. I don't know. So whatever. I guess help a brother out and boost even more in compensation. I don't know. We'll look into it more. I don't really know they probably have my ID somewhere anyways. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. There's also a CEO shooting in New York. That's interesting. Maybe we'll have to look into that later. The same building that houses Black Rock. God, what is going on with me? Black Rock. I've been hanging out with too many foreigners on boats speaking weird Asian languages and stuff. Black Rock and the NFL, which took place on the 33rd floor, which also means that gun control is back in the news. Also, CNN tried to claim the shooter was white, and he was anything but. James Carville says Melania Trump is at the center of a deep, dark Epstein secret. Trump said Epstein stole Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago when she was just 16, and Carville is now dragging Melania into it, claiming she might be the key figure Trump is protecting. That'd be interesting, because I know we've covered on this show I forget the guy's name, fucking Zamboni or whatever the hell his stupid name is. The one guy that she was trafficked through, essentially. Maybe trafficked isn't the word that you would like to use, but it looks like she was trafficked through him to, essentially in a roundabout way, to Trump. I forget the specifics on it. She was living in some weird, when she met Trump, she was living in some weird hotel with some connection for some other guy. And I don't know, I forget the specifics. It's super sketchy. Looks like she was some sort of, like they call it modeling, but it looks a lot more like trafficking to me. So I know that would check out. That could make sense. Although I'll be real, I think he was probably just straight up raping kids. And I feel like everyone's just trying to find reasons to skate around why that's not the case. I think the more I look back now, if anything, it's weird because I used to be one of those ones that I was like, I don't know, I don't think so. And then, I don't know, maybe just, I really, if anything, I almost get disappointed with people when they say otherwise because it's like if they're not aware of the information. Because now I'm looking back over some of this information. I assume some of these other like influencers and stuff are now too. And so I'm looking back on them with new eyes. And these are things that, like, for a lot of them were like 2016 on the original. So I was really, really young. These weren't things I was super paying attention to. I wasn't doing this at the time. And so these sort of stories that broke, some of the crazy stuff like look of the year type stuff, and some other stuff we'll probably get into later in this episode if we have time. But now looking back to it, especially now as someone with older daughters, like, because I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a very much like maybe younger me was able to far more be able to be like maybe when I heard those things and also wasn't in the know. When I heard some of the tales of the younger, maybe, and which I don't even know if I did or not. This is so long ago. So like I'm just trying to like understand where my head was. Maybe it's just because my kids were so young, so it wasn't even something I even really thought about. But now it's like maybe it's much more like no, because that's basically like the age of my children that these people would be preying upon. And they're almost sort of trying to normalize, and it's almost like this, no, I don't think he did things to kids, but if he did, we're just talking like, oh, teenagers or something. And you're like, what? Excuse me? Excuse the fuck out of me? What? That's not okay, dude. What do you... that almost feels like the feeling that we get here, and it's almost like people are like, oh, I don't think he would. I just don't even understand the justification for why we think he wouldn't at this point. It's pretty clear. It seems to me, with a bunch of information coming out, he seemed to like younger model girls. And like, yeah, I know a lot of people point out that he also did kind of have, a debutante type look too. I don't know, maybe that's the wrong word, that he was kind of into, that almost like the older looking ones, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just, some people are like have what they prefer for like wives and what they prefer for. So I don't know. I think he was doing disgusting stuff personally. I think he was dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight. I think that's what he was doing, and in the most most literal way you could possibly think of. But yeah, Fed Chair Jerome Powell leaves interest rates unchanged, which Trump will be likely upset about. Attorney who represented. Oh, hey kiddo, I'm streaming by the way. Fed Chair Jerome Powell leaves interest rates unchanged with Trump. Okay, I already said that. Attorney represented 9 Epstein victims, says Alan Dershowitz is wrong about Epstein, claims the clients are in fact real. Trump revealed he brokered a ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia, border war with trade deals. The UK's Online Safety Act has come into effect, promising a safer internet, but it's actually a power grab disguised as a child protection law, which will affect internet usage here in the States. There was an advertisement with Sydney Sweeney that is considered racist by the left because of a reference to having good genes is being referred to as Nazi propaganda. Also, it's a new one that's not really talked about, but I'll find you a source. But apparently the Independent Party has been overtaken by an intelligence-linked New Age transhumanism cult that also last Saturday was the 4th anniversary of my show, which, by the way, for those... Just a reminder for those listening, that is, this is Jacob, Rise Celebrity. That's his Twitter account is at Rise Celebrity. It's also his show. So that's the 4th anniversary show. He had Toad and JJ Vance on, both great guests. But yeah, so that's kind of, I appreciate you doing that, Jacob. That's kind of the main reason I went there. Jacob gave a good breakdown of the things that went on. You got John Black in here saying same old creatures doing occult shit, wars and stuff, evil rituals, all that stuff. Matt Rife says, I'm glad I made it back. So appreciate everyone for the good wishes. I'm glad to be back with y'all. I see Noticing Walrus in here saying, I miss your content. I think Top was constructive criticizing you, which I don't know if he did that while he's gone. I'm aware of some shit he said in the back. Back in the day, I just didn't even really care to address it. But I mean, you're mentioning it here. I mean, I'm really barely going to address it here. But I mean, whatever. I've said my piece. I think it's pretty clear what the situation was. I mean, people can really, all you really get from Top is like, okay, yeah, he'll talk shit about my content, which whatever. I mean, cool. That's great. Great. You have flashy content. Good for you. But which is, no, that's not even like, honestly, he is top of the line. I have nothing to criticize him for that with there. So, but that's like kind of like a whatever. It's all just assumptions of motive and just talking shit about my content, which, okay, whatever. Just think whatever you want to about my motives. Don't fucking care. You want to read my mind? I've said my piece. I'm probably the most eminent expert in the world on my thoughts on things. I've given them to you. So if you're going to assume my motives when I've already stated what my claim motives, whatever. Don't fucking care. But aside from that, like, whatever. Yeah, so I'm putting all that bullshit behind me. That's kind of where I'm at. But like, it's pretty clear what the situation was. And he's admitted it. You know, I've pointed out that he's admitted to it. He's admitted it. Like, but then he frames it differently at different times. It's pretty clear he gave an ultimatum to a friend in a very weird situation, which I thought was kind of honestly a faggoty ego trip, to be completely honest. He fucking then pulled an ultimatum demanding an apology, a complete and utter apology, and like essentially, it was pretty much basically groveling. Is basically seemed like he was what he wanted. Clint decided to do, I don't know, unsurprisingly be a man, which everyone assumed was going to happen. And then following after that, they decided, then let's drag him through the mud. And then I already at that point, prior to that, said, hey, I'm not really cool with this, and like I don't really feel like I can be a part of a group like this. Essentially, this is how they're going to treat people, and this is when it was behind the scenes, and then they went public with it with how they're treating Clint, and then I just had to go, hey. At that point, I had to put my shit on the table and go, hey, I also pointed out my protest. It's not just Clint. So it's really as simple as that. I mean, I really don't even give a shit about this stuff anymore. I mean, it's whatever. So yeah. But whatever. If he wants to keep talking shit, I really don't fucking care. But yeah, it really is. Try to listen to anything he says. Is it anything more than assuming motives and talking shit about my content? And then he might, like, maybe at best you may get like a disingenuous framing of the situation from him. So yeah, but there you go. But yeah, I mean, it's a sad. I'm not happy about that situation. It is what it is. Whatever. But I'm moving past it. So I guess whatever. I had a great week. I mean, if anything, like I guess kind of on that note, I feel like the kind of the theme that's been in my mind is kind of like growth and just kind of, I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of I saw a post from Mike Posner the other day. I don't know, which is weird. I just thought this was oddly inspiring, and it kind of seemed to be in theme with a lot of things. And I don't know. Maybe I've seen a lot of people's lives, and mine as well, and other things. But I just thought that was weirdly. I wish I'd saved it. I should have saved it. The Mike Posner one that I ran across. But for those who aren't aware, what Mike Posner is he's the guy who has the song "A Pill and a Vici." And I just really thought it was kind of weirdly beautiful. Then he put this, he made this long thread and about how he how much he's changed in like a year, and like how he's not that person. And for those who remember what a pill and a Vici, it's kind of like the lyrics are kind of like it's kind of like a ravey ED, what is it, EDM? I forget what even the fucking genre is. It's kind of techno-y-ish. And it's kind of literally the lyrics are about essentially implying taking some sort of hallucinogen, essentially and he literally says in the lyrics to be cool for Avicii, which is I think like a band, and like then kind of going into how he's got all these beautiful cars and shoes and just kind of very vapid everything, and it's just kind of, and then he's going on and like how he's sold all of his his sports cars, and he has a nice car, but it's a car that he likes. And it's not about that because he's like thinks other people like it. And it's just, I thought it was beautiful. So, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that right now. I feel like I'm seeing that in other places too. So, even on their end, I guess that maybe ties into what I was talking about with the other shit too. So, even on their end, I hope they grow. I hope they learn. I mean, whatever. I hope maybe it's just ego that's weighing in their heart, the way they can't say certain things, or maybe I'm wrong. But I hope whatever. I hope everyone grows from this and becomes better men. Whatever. And hopefully we can move past that. So... but yeah, whatever. I don't know if you said if you talked any other shit while I was going. I don't fucking care. But I did hear some shit before that. So, anyways, guys, let's get into some foreign policy. Let's run through the chat real quick, see what you guys could say. For all I know, it's been too long since I peeked in there. I could be gone already or some shit. Weird stuff happens when I don't check in on the chat for a while. I could have been muted this entire goddamn time or something. Let's roll through, see what you guys got to say. Let me see. Here's Jake Moore. Says Crowder lives in limited hangout land. It gives a little pushback to stuff, but will ultimately buckle. No aid for AIPAC because Democrats. But if they went straight red team, Crowder wouldn't say shit. Yeah, exactly. Adrian says cats rule, dogs drool. Love them all. Yeah, okay. No, I do. Yeah, I love them both. There's different perks to both. Bug fight. So yay, we are back. We sure did. Mornings have been boring without me. Oh, I'm sorry, Bug Fights. I'm glad I'm back for you all. Lawrence Morgan says he had a Frenchie he missed. I'm a big dog kind of guy, but like Frenchies are fucking adorable. I don't know what it is. Romulux says good morning. He says was never able to get a new puppy. I understand that. I understand it. When you got the right buddy, it's not the same. It was particularly traumatizing for me because like I remember my big boy. I had to like come home and he was just out, like just collapsed, did the whole like shitting and everything all over the place, and like, oh cool, what an awful way to find your friend, and then I'm the one who has to take care of him. So like I'm the one who had to like scoop him up, put him on. Luckily I had like a dolly, and then I had to like then clean up the mess that he created when he died, and then I had to then go dig like a fucking human-sized grave, and then I had to then lug his corpse into it. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I will say though, it kind of gives you that experience. While like I guess in a certain way, it was like I'm glad I spared my family that, but like certain way, it was kind of cathartic. I don't know. I can kind of see why people got so into the processes of like I don't know, burying dead. If anything, I'm almost getting a little misty thinking about it now, just because it was like a fuck, geez, this is fucked up, and it was like whereas now we've so much outsourced like death. To where it's like, someone died, gotta do this. Whereas like, dude, fucking 1,000 years ago, you died. Like, no. You know who's taking care of grandma's body? Her son, her grandchildren, like the loved ones, probably the men. Like, I don't know, maybe the women serve some sort of roles. Like, but like, yeah, it was probably very much I don't know, kind of almost makes you feel like maybe we should go back to that. So anyways, King David, back to you. Says, man, been waiting all week for good dump. Thank you, Jose. What's up, buddy? What's up, Alien Big Cat? But yeah, it's good to see you guys back. I was looking forward to telling you about time. I had a really great time. Really did. We had a great, kind of just a lot of spending time with the family, a lot of great time with the wife. Maybe I'll have to post some photos soon. I don't know. I didn't even take any photos. I'm sure the wife didn't take much either, but I'm sure the kids got, I don't know. There's got to be some good family stuff in there. We were just too focused on having fun. I think we went to Nassau. Celebration Key was a new place that they opened. And then what was the other place? I don't even remember the fucking first place we went to. I don't know. I've gone so many damn cruises now that it's like, we're going. Whatever we get off. And the first day we did beach. Second day we had a snuba excursion. Third day we did beach. So we had a fun time. A lot of dinners with the kids. I worked out every single day. I actually lost weight and got in better shape. I like ran every day, swam every day, worked out every day. I get fucking ripped. I had a great time. So someone says I got a 12-hour ban on X last night for talking shit about Netanyahu. That's kind of wild. Digital IDs are coming for internet access, says Doctory 420, perhaps. Doctory says Trump was a pussy hound for years. It's a well-known fact. The only question is whether they got him with young teens or not. Yep. Let me see what else we got in here. R.A.P. Vici says, Adrian Brody says a spook suicided him. Someone says that was a reorientation day at Intelligence HQ. I guess fine. Posting poet photos and port for OPSEC backstory. Okay, yeah. I love snorkeling. We did snuba. Snuba's fun. That's the first time I did snuba. I prefer it to snorkeling because, for anyone who knows, it's like they hook you up to like a fucking like you would for dive. I think we were talking. Me and the wife and the kids were talking, and I think that's what we'll probably want to do in the future. Is maybe get like dive hours because that'd be fun. I think I'd like to get into diving. But anyways, let's enough talk about my vacation. Let's get into some topics. Here we go. Into the foreign policy as we do. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff meets with Netanyahu in Israel amid stalled Gaza ceasefire talks. It says U.S. Middle East, which, by the way, for these foreign policy stuff, I'm kind of jumping in. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to catch you guys up. Although it looks like kind of the same a week ago for an update. If anyone wants to update for but I know this show is more of like the minutia where you go into the details. So I don't have that for you for the last week, but it looks like, I guess, luckily, maybe that's the wrong word. That's an awful word because we were in a not good state, but things have kind of been in a holding pattern, it seems like. Because literally here I am a week later, and now they're finally talking about they're doing the ceasefire talks that I think just before they had walked away from or some craziness, and they were like, oh, we need to be Mr. fucking tough guys now because we're not being tough enough on these poor fucking people. So anyways, now they finally met with him. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff met with Netanyahu in Jerusalem on Thursday amid stalled Gaza ceasefire negotiations, and his people are starving to death in the Palestinian territory due to the U.S.-backed Israeli siege. By the way, this is from Dave DeCamp over at antiwar.com. Neither side released a statement on the meeting, but the two officials were expected to discuss the status of negotiations with Hamas, which both the U.S. and Israel quit last week. Hamas said on Thursday that it was willing to restart talks if the humanitarian crisis was resolved. Continuing negotiations while there is mass starvation, emptying them of content and meaning, Hamas said. According to Haaretz, the occupation Israel withdrew from talks last night without any justification. An Israeli official told Hebrew media outlets that the U.S. and Israel have reached an understanding that they should pursue a comprehensive deal to free all remaining Israeli captives rather than a partial deal that would involve only a temporary ceasefire, which it's my understanding that's kind of been what they've been complaining about for a while, is they want all of them. But anyways, the officials said that communication is broken down with Hamas and that there's no one to talk to on the other side. Other Israeli reports say that Israel is threatening to start annexing Gaza if Hamas doesn't accept its terms for a deal. Which, keep in mind, I mean, this is the same that we've been talking, so we don't really need to continue. Sounds like the exact same deal that they've been offering. Is that because they probably want this like loose 60-day ceasefire / truce without any sort of guarantee while they build fucking concentration camps in Rafah. And Hamas obviously is like, no, we're not going to take pressure off you so you can build concentration camps. We need you to promise you're not going to do things like build concentration camps. And they're like, no. like I don't know. It's kind of obvious. So yeah, I guess. And then more on this side things when it comes to Israel-Palestine. I guess Canada just announces backing statehood for Palestine. Here's a tweet or whatever the fuck, a truth. He's truthing out here. He says, wow, this is from Donald Trump. Canada has just announced that it is backing statehood for Palestine. That'll make it very hard for us to make a trade deal with them. Oh, Canada. And I just shared, this is Carrie Lake's tweet saying, Canada's not in the driver's seat, this dumb broad. And then later, after threatening trade retaliation, this is last night, Trump raised tariffs on the country to 25% to 35%. So now he's raising tariffs on Canada over this, which, I mean, I'm far be it for me to run to the aid of Canada, but I guess I'm not really. I'm just pointing out how gay this is. I mean, okay, which is most of these states are recognizing this as a response to the insane starvation campaign going on over there, which we'll get more into that in a bit. We also got U.S. is telling UN that he wants a deal to end the Ukraine war by August 8th, so that's a week from now. So he supposedly wants to be a deal to be, I'm assuming that means he wants a deal to be reached by then. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's done by then, because that would be insanity. I honestly think this is also retarded, to be honest, that they somehow magically are going to get in a week this together. But who knows? Maybe crazier things have happened. He said he's threatening to impose tariffs and sanctions targeting Russia and its trading partners. Oh, okay. So that's more of the same. So once again, do we even really need to keep reading this piece? Once again, more of the same. There's no real point to continue reading this piece. That paragraph there says it all. Just okay, cool. He wants to reach a deal. Okay, cool. How are we doing that? We're going to impose tariffs and sanctions on Russia. Oh, okay. That'll totally fucking work. That'll totally work. We haven't done that before. Yeah. Okay. And then on this, Zelensky just signed a law allowing Ukrainians over 60 to join military in limited roles. This is where they're at. They're allowing 60-year-olds, which I think was America. Like I think when I joined, it was like early 30s or something was the latest you can join. Now I think it's like late 30s or something crazy. So like, nope, 60 over in Ukraine. You can go join. Somebody's got to die. So that's where they're at. The war is going great. Also, on the Iran front, the foreign minister is saying U.S. must provide compensation if we're to continue nuclear talks, which luckily, I don't know what to think about this one. because I know we've had really just kind of comes down to, at the end of the day, is it in the political will of, I guess I could say Trump, but really, let's be real, Israel. Is it the political will of Israel at whatever given time to bomb them? Like, is U.S. at a point where, you know, Israel can pressure them to do it or whatever? Like, that's what it comes down to with the situation now. Because the point being is they don't really even have to do the nuclear talks. So we're in this weird holding pattern where really it's just kind of the whims of the powers that be, because they're in a situation where they've kind of easily set themselves up. They have their purported precedent. While it's retarded, they're already in a pattern where they're like they've said many times, we're open to, if they do this, we'll do this. If they do this, we'll do this. So they've already set the groundwork. All they gotta do is just basically trigger pull away, and boom, they'll do it again. So they'll bomb them again or whatever. But I actually don't personally see nuclear talks happening anytime soon. But perhaps they could. I hope to be proven wrong. I think if anything, it's going to be either they get bombed for some reason, or sanctions or whatever, or they or they just don't, or nothing really happens, or just kind of continues more of the same. They just kind of ignore them. I just feel like if anything, he may want to just avoid the nuclear talk things, because I think he's probably going to want to stand by we fucked their shit up. We don't even need to have a talk. So that would be my feeling on it, at least. Also, we have the GHF whistleblower witnessed war crimes in Gaza, interviewed by Tucker Carlson. I didn't watch the Tucker Carlson interview yet. I've listened to the Crystal Ball, the Breaking Points interview, which I thought was really great. We're going to go more into that in a little bit, which for the guy who's fed jacketing me in the chat, which, whatever, I don't care. You'll probably get a kick out of that. I think I have a couple threads ready that I really want to dig into that, and I'll probably give maybe a little bit more of a, I guess you could say, self-doxing or whatever info about my past. So whatever, you can have fun with that. For, I guess, your little scrapbook for fed jacketing or whatever you're doing. Yeah, this is but anyway, it's a good thread, because I wanted to go into the details, because this guy's getting like I watched that yesterday. Because I think I saw something about this guy before I went on vacation, and then now I right when I came back, saw all these, now he's on shows and stuff, and I watched this, and all of his stuff he's saying seems to match up, but he's getting these allegations that he's lying and this and that, and it kind of really goes into the detail. It gets into the nitty gritty and the kind of, I don't know, the kind of the gay, where you get like, oh, here's this screenshot and here's that screenshot and here's it, and it's like, but then a lot of it does kind of get into like military stuff, and I'm gonna do my best, because I know while I haven't been joking to the guy fed jacketing me, I failed out of like a sort of Spec Ops thing. It's not even really technically Spec Ops. Like if an actual Spec Ops guy, like this guy, a Green Beret guy, if I referred to SEER instructor, which was what I was going for, as Spec Ops, he'd probably slap me in the face. He'd be like, what the fuck? This is not, no. I mean, yeah, it's hard, but it's like every single person in my class failed out. So I forgot where I was going with that. But, anyways, one of the threads goes into like very much like military detail stuff, which kind of what I'm getting at is like, I do kind of have to like go, here's where I'm coming from, so I know some of this stuff. I also was never the guy who got super into military jargon and all that gay stuff, so I'm pretty rough on that. And I didn't actually make it past selection, so I became a mechanic after that. So a lot of the combat lingo or like Spec Ops lingo, I'm gonna be like just have nothing on, because it's like the only experience I have with that was like as a 19-year-old idiot who fucking for a couple weeks worked out and fucking got taught survival skills, and then failed. Like, I fell asleep sharpening my fucking, these are my knife or my axe, I forget which, because they gave you like the second week of selection, you go to field, is what they call it, and you take your skills they taught you about, like survival skills, and you like try to practice, and like they give you the first night there, or like I think it was the first night, I forget, maybe it was the second night, they give you like, every night they gave you, lists of things to do. And they go, here's this shit to do, and so you had to have that done by the time the what the hell was the guy's name even? Cadre? I forget what the guy even called the fucking guys who ran it. But anyways, you had to have your shit done before they came back in the morning. And like one of the things was like make a fire. Like there were group tasks and there were individual tasks. You had to take care of your tools. You had to like make a fire as a group. And so I remember like I was sharpening my knife by the fire, and I had like a couple other hours of like tasks. But what they do is they give you so many tasks that you have to like insanely manage your time well. But anyways, then I was sitting there, ching, 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 by the fire, and like I've been doing like, I mean, for weeks, been like doing nothing, working hard, like, and not much sleep at all, because they like give you all these crazy tasks to do over and over again, to kind of weed out who can do what. And then ching, 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 just like just super tired already, and just like kind of just doing this monotonous task when it's kind of cold out, sitting by a fire, and just fall asleep. And the next day I wake up, and then there's the with the instructor or whatever the hell the guy is like, what's going on? And I was like, oh fuck. He's like, all right, you failed. I'm like, shit. And it's like, whatever. Luckily, it worked out, because I wouldn't want to do that anyways. So, like, I actually surprisingly, which I guess we'll get into a little bit, when I joined, I literally was the idiot who was like, I'm young, dumb, and full of cum, and I think Hajis are fucking a threat to my goddamn country. Like a fucking idiot. And I think somehow I'm going to be a goddamn hero and fucking and like do some cool shit. And that's what, and I was like, but I'm not just going to be some grunt, some whatever. So I'm like, I'm going to go spec ops. And I had shit eyes, so they were like, well, you can't do anything except for, like, SEER. It was basically what they had for, like, Air Force. Maybe other branches would have let me do something. But they're like, with your eyes, like, no, you can't really do anything. So I was like, well, shit. And so I did SEER, but they sold it to me as, like, I remember the recruiter being like, oh, you could really make it so your career's like combat. And then when you get to, like, training, you talk to some guys that are like, yeah, sort of, but not really. And you're like, fuck. And so you're like, I'm just really going to be a gay-ass survival instructor? And they're like, yeah, I mean, it's like kind of cool. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this. But anyway, I still didn't want to like fail, because I just don't like failing shit. But either way, yeah, that's my story. And then I fucking failed out, and then I got recycled over to be a mechanic. But yeah, we'll go more into that stuff, because I meant to do that later. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of rambling, because we're going to go into that stuff in a little bit. The whistleblower, because I think that stuff's really interesting. And if he is lying, because it is the claims, I do think we probably should know. We should be aware of it. It does feel like a weird lie, and I know there's a lot of people who, myself included, I don't want to, I know some of the things about Tucker. I know about his dad, Tucker's early youth, where you're like, that glows a little bit. You're like, so you're always watching for the swerve. I've warned. I've made this point many times. Keep your eye on the swerve for these characters, the Tuckers of the world, because who knows? Maybe he is totally legit, but it is also like I can't help but notice your glaringly glowing past in pedigree and family tree. I just sorry. I'm just I'm cognizant of the world. I don't know what to tell you. So I do get being aware of that, keeping that in mind. But I mean, I don't know. I still struggle to find where he hasn't swerved, and he's been staying on it for a long time. So maybe he will swerve at some point. Maybe this is the swerve. So I understand people being concerned. Like maybe this could be, especially when we do the stuff that he is saying. I like, even if he's lying, the stuff that he is saying is in essence true. Like maybe the specific claims, like specific stories may not be, but it comports to what's going on over there. So now if this is the swerve, that is a fair thing to look for, because this could easily discredit the whole thing, because then you go, oh, well, this was completely bullshit, and this, that, and this, and this. So I think we're going to go through a couple threads today if we have time. I know I'm kind of rambling a lot because it's been a while since I've talked to you guys, but yeah. I think that'll be interesting, because I do think it matters whether he's lying or not, and I'll try to do my best job. Like I said, I'm going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage because I didn't really actually do any time in the Spec Ops world aside from selection. I didn't do any time in the combat world. I was Air Force mechanic. I was a crew chief. I worked on planes. I fucking turned wrenches. That's actually what happens to most people who fail out from like Spec Ops or anything like that, is they send them to either be a cop, like a miserable cop at the gate every fucking day collecting ID cards, or you're a mechanic. That's almost always what happens whenever you get recycled from something else. But anyways, let's watch this video. I feel like this is actually going to kind of be a good lead into the next topic, because we're going to kind of get into the starvation topic real quick, because this has become a thing as of late, everyone trying to deny it. So let's go ahead and play this.
About The photos and videos of emaciated children that are starving to death in Gaza, they're saying it's atrocity propaganda. They're saying, in contravention of all the evidence, look at that cover of a magazine of a child starving. They say, well, that child isn't starving. He has a genetic disorder. He's not rail thin and 30 pounds because he's hungry. It's because he has a genetic disorder. They're calling it Pallywood, Palestinian Hollywood, saying all the photos, all the evidence is being staged, Hollywood style. So you're telling me that photos of bodies and hungry corpses is not evidence of systematic killing? That's weird. You're telling me that you have self-interested political actors that are staging, in the manner of a Hollywood production, videos and photos of atrocity to garner sympathy for a political agenda. That's really interesting. You're telling me that because there is no document that ordered the mass starvation of children, that it isn't happening, that it isn't intentional. You're disputing the numbers. You're telling us that the Gaza Health Ministry is exaggerating and embellishing the numbers. They're not denying that people are dying. They're not denying that Israel's killing them. They're just denying that there's a systemic effort to kill these people for who they are, and that they think the numbers are exaggerated. You see, that's really interesting. You know what?
I don't really even have to say what we're getting at there, but yes, here's more. People are starving. Over at Al Jazeera, Palestinian newborn starving in Gaza as infant formula runs out. Here's a photo of a starving baby. Now, here's the thing. I forget which major publication it was. Maybe it was the New York Times. I don't know. I don't care. But the big hubbub everyone's going on about right now is that I guess one of the photos is the mother was holding a child that had cerebral palsy. Which, yeah, I guess there is muscle wasting in cerebral palsy, but it's pretty goddamn clear, even looking at the child, that is a starving child. Even then, the issue is that, like, they still recommend, like, if a cerebral like a kid with cerebral palsy starves to death or some shit, it's like, I don't know. The point being is that they're like taking these specific examples, like, look at this one starved kid, this, that, and they're trying to deny that this is happening. Also, here's the thing: a lot of the deaths that are happening are things like people with, babies with conditions, because this is, if you are going to be having a starving campaign, the weak die first. But then what's happening here is that the cope that's coming out is that, no, this person has this thing, that has that thing, has this thing, has that thing. It's it's not a good look, and it's not going to age well. So Palestinian mothers in the Gaza Strip are desperately trying to feed their newborns as Israel's punishing blockade and the besieged enclave has led to dire shortages of infant formula, with some resorting to filling bottles with water and whatever food they can fill. So, in the Gaza Strip, we have thousands of children being starved because there's no milk for the children of under the age of 2. This is from Dakran. This is Dr. Khalil Dakran, who's been helping these mothers over here. So these children, their mothers also have malnutrition because there's no food, so the mothers cannot produce milk. Now our children are being fed either water or ground hard legumes, and this is harmful for children in Gaza. Which, by the way, everything coming out is all these aid places are not giving water. Keep this in mind. Where are these people getting water? I don't know. Everything I'm hearing is these people are, not going days without water. And they're being given, if they receive aid, they're receiving, ready to make that requires water. And a lot of times cooking oil and stuff like that. So Azhar Imad says she has mixed tahini with water in hopes of feeding 4-month-old Juri, but she says she fears the mixture will make her baby sick. She says, I'm using this paste instead of milk, but she won't drink it. All these can cause illnesses, Imad said. Sometimes I give her water in the bottle. There's nothing available. I make her caraway and herbs, any kind of herbs. So yeah, this is, I don't know, it's just awful. Imagine just watching your children wasting away, and meanwhile, the ghouls out there are going, well, this one has this condition, this one has that condition. Then on top of that, we have Israeli forces kill 111 Palestinians in Gaza over the past 24 hours. So that's a lot. That's the current count. This seems to be, from my understanding, has been the going trend. Is we're staying in the over 100. And even here, it's still staying with the AIDS. It doesn't seem to be slowing down. There was a period of time where it did seem to be, but if anything, it seems to be ramping up. Which, after watching that interview with the captain or lieutenant colonel, whatever the hell he was, Aguilar, You kind of see why. I mean, according to him, all these aid sites are set up in the middle of the combat zones to where like they have to, like, I know you'd have to really hear him describe. He does a good job of like laying out the logistics of it. I highly recommend that interview. It's just really eye opening. And then once you start realizing the shadiness of the funding, and they even claim that, which we'll get into, you're like, seems like this is all a front, essentially created by the IDF and / or its allies, and essentially to, as they said from the beginning, create an illusion of aid. And this actually even more sinister seems to be, if anything, helping them perpetuate the chaos they want to create. Like, it's literally worse than doing nothing. So yeah, because it says of those, the majority of those killed were 91 were killed while attempting to reach aid. Good. So yep, that's where we're at. All right, let's roll for the chat. See what you guys gotta say. Let's check in. Mulgara says listening to Dave the Camp every day is both very informative and yet so goddamn blackpilling. It says, I believe Trump is a Trojan horse to collapse the dollar and bring in the CBDC under Palantir's blockchain bullshit. You're probably not wrong. The Palantir things are creepy. Yeah, they made those guys lieutenant colonels. Yeah, it's weird. And then did you see Crystal and Sager interview that CIA spook slot? Okay, no, but I saved it. There were a few things that I heard were pretty big stuff that happened over the week. I haven't watched that one yet. I want to watch. I know there's an interesting. I don't have it for today, but she went on Colbert and said was sucking off the CIA, which I guess she is former CIA. So Boomer Sooners is back from the motherland. Yep, the motherland of the Bahamas. Yep. Read the Scroll says, I almost joined the U.S. Marine Corps after high school in 99. Grateful I didn't, considering the bullshit 9/11 wars. Fuck the bullshit family. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't too. I mean, I guess in a certain like cosmic overall way, I guess you could say glad, but like obviously like with 2020, I wouldn't have done it. Like it's very much something I'm against. I guess I feel a little bit embarrassed, but I don't know. We're all dumb once, aren't we? So yeah. Adrian says he almost did the same thing in 99. Read Scroll was one signature away, did all the tests, would run 15 miles every weekend. Kluter was blowing me up for 2 years trying to get me to come back. Yep. Mulgara says that Dave pointed out that the aid that is given out is mainly just flour. Yep, exactly. Like I was saying, if you flour, you got to have the water for it. Yep. All right. Let's go into. Let's watch. Let me check my. All right. Let's watch this video real quick. This one I might follow up on tomorrow. I found this right before I started, and this is. I guess there's some updates on the 764 stuff, particularly the Kyle Spitz. There was more. It's been a long time since I've heard any news on that. Like a long, long time. Really, only long listeners in the show would be like, "Oh yeah, that." So let's listen to this.
Last this week is sadistic 764 pedophile's dad arrested for attempting to silence son's victim. Here we have Kyle Spitz, a solid contender to both Ryan and Orrin Ruth in the creepy stare contest. We first reported on Kyle back in February of last year before his arrest. Kyle got internet famous for some interesting things and hangs out online with some questionable friends. His father, Michael, confirmed that for us. Michael also claimed at the time that his son was groomed by an older woman as he was just turning 18. Poor guy. And Michael claims she was the one who taught him all this bad stuff. Michael denied that Kyle was a pedo, and then Kyle was arrested weeks later. And now, according to an indictment first reported by Court Watch, Michael may have really stepped in it here with a. Last this week is
what the hell? It cuts off. That's not cool. Oh man. All right. Well, now I guess we got to read the article. All right. Whatever. No, that's a teaser for tomorrow. I'm not going into that. We'll go into that tomorrow if we could do it. I thought it would at least give us a little something and we could dig in more. But I guess, he's teasing that the dad got in trouble for something. So I think maybe tomorrow we'll dig into that. I'll go ahead and bookmark that. Make sure we do. Let's go into the next story because we're running low on time. I don't want to go too long on this one. Here's Tim Pool saying, holy fuck, this is massive. Hillary and the Obama administration conspired to undermine and sabotage the U.S. government. To that I responded, wow, I'm sure this will go somewhere. And then I found this dope tweet, meme I found a while ago from somebody grilling saying, man, that's crazy. Show me the Epstein list. But it's just for the sake of it. Let's see, what are they talking about? What did old Hillary do this time? Which, don't get me wrong, far be it for me not to claim Hillary Clinton is a ghoul of the highest order. I don't deny any of this, but LOL after flouting about the Epstein stuff and after already going down this, I literally was just I made a whole thing, a week or two ago, joking about the lock him up, Obama, because I was teasing the concept of lock her up. That was the joke. I mean, it was very obvious, very over the top. I'm surprised it become more of a hashtag or a thing. I don't know. Maybe Elon's doing some Twitter deboosting. I don't know. I just feel like that should have taken off. That just feels like, not that I was trying to do it, but I'm surprised I didn't see it. Lock him up. But now we're literally back at lock her up. That was literally where we started back in 2016. That whole promise of all the emails, this, that, the Podesta emails, all the crazy stuff that was floating about that was, let's be real. I think it's fair to say Trump was at very least giving these things. I mean, while I think it's a little bit gay and I hate you because it does remind me of leftists, but I don't know. He was leaning into the shit. He wasn't I don't know. He definitely, how he even went into the stuff about Bill and, the many times about the islands and this and that. So he definitely, I don't even think I really have to say that it's, I don't think I really need to feel I'm not even saying dog whistling. He's literally just saying it. Anyways. But yeah, let's read this. Let's see what this is. I haven't yet. I just kind of, whatever. Let's read this. Boom, boom, boom. Let's zoom in. All right, so this is some email. This is authorized for public release by Chairman Grassley. Well, that's interesting. Isn't Grassley's the one that I was talking about? I think Trump's mad at right now. It's bizarre, but whatever. So the email attached the following English text in a document, which appears to be another email from Bernardo, bearing a date of July 27th, from Leonard Bernardo, sent July 27th, 2016. It says, hi, Hillary Rodham Clinton, HRC, approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. The point is making the Russia play a U.S. domestic issue. Say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election to feel menace, since both POTUS and Vice POTUS have acknowledged the fact IC would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable. However, there seems to be signs, GRU penetration, Cyrillic 2.0 VPN, Elite VPN, and Felix Edmundovich. They hardly appeared skilled. Incompetent, bumbling idiots, as SMB, somebody called them. In absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will supply the media, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts. Okay. So it's the email. So HR, who is this guy? Leonard Bernardo. Okay, now redacted. The office interviewed numerous FBI redacted personnel who were involved in Crossfire Hurricane or related intelligence efforts to determine whether they could shed light on the potential reliability or unreliability of the information about the possible Clinton campaign plan. Certain redacted and analysts and officers from the office interviewed who were well versed in the sensitive intelligence collections stated that their best assessment was that Bernardo and her emails were likely authentic. Multiple analysts noticed. Oops, I just bumped my camera or my thing. My mic still coming over good? Let me double check. I accidentally bumped my thing, so I'll make sure I'm good. Yeah, I'm still good. I'm sorry. Anyways. And who were well versed. Multiple analysts noticed that the Russians had, in fact, hacked Bernardo's emails. Redacted. Some analysts also noted it was possible, however, that the blank. Okay. I mean, I don't know. What is. Okay, so Leonard Bernardo. Who is this? Let's look up who even Leonard Bernardo is. Bernardo, Senior Vice President of the Open Society Foundations. Okay. Now here we go. Over here we have New York Times saying Clinton plan emails were likely made by Russian spies. I mean, I find this a little bit gay too. I don't know. I mean, like, I think this is like legit. This seems legit to me. But it's like, it's just, once again, now we're back on, this is Russian spies. This seems to be fighting spooks, or like in I guess I mean like a ghost type of way. It seems, I don't know, what are we going to do here? Because they're easily going to go, oh, well, that's, and whenever you're talking about IP addresses or this or that, I mean, like, I don't know, can you really track any of this shit? I don't know. I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, I don't know. I feel like, is this a smoking gun? Actually, I kind of genuinely want you guys' thoughts. I mean, maybe some of you guys have really been able to look into this more. I mean, this is kind of getting to like technical side of things, which isn't really my stuff, like nerd shit. But I mean, this does kind of seem to be that, yeah, he's saying that, I mean, even the beginning, you could maybe kind of give a cynical, although later I guess it sounds like he's saying that, no, we know that this is bullshit. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is this definitely doesn't look good. I mean, this is, I don't know if this is really a smoking gun. I mean, okay. I mean, whatever. I mean, yeah. I mean, who's surprised that she sucks? I mean, what can you do with this is the thing, though. Like, because this is, I mean, I guess it's interesting, and like, oh, here's this email that shows this. I'm not surprised, but like, what do you do with this? What is this? I mean, it's so cool. All right, what else we got? We got FBI Director Gash Patel has now found thousands of Trump-Russia collusion hoax documents in burn bags in a secret room within the Bureau, according to Fox. Look at that face. The face of honesty and transparency. We're going to get all those. Yeah, I'm sure they're, as this person says, they're on her desk and they're disgusting. I'm sure we'll be getting this, which I don't know. Maybe we'll get something. I mean, what are we going to do with this? This just seems like a nothing still. Let's actually get, I guess, maybe a little bit of a breakdown. So here's Patel. He shared something from Charlie Kirk saying this is a good summary of what was found. So I guess let's read through this real quick. Maybe we'll get it from Charlie, see what he has to say. It says, newly declassified documents from the Durham Report Appendix made public by Senator Chuck Grassley indicate the intel community was fully aware of Hillary Clinton campaign plan to falsely tie President Donald Trump to Russia. What we know. The FBI knew the Russian collusion hoax arose from the Clinton campaign, and then they ignored key intel to cover it up. Okay. Clinton's campaign plan was to use or possibly coordinate with the Obama FBI to accelerate the narrative and leak it to U.S. press outlets. The FBI placed thousands of relevant documents in burn bags for destruction, but Kash Patel found them in a secret room of the FBI. Hillary Clinton approved of that plan to construct a Donald Trump colluding with Russia narrative in order to distract the public from her use of her private email server. Which is like, is that illegal? I mean, okay. I mean, that's also like, what do we do here? Is that what is this? Is that illegal? I don't even know if that's illegal. I mean, it's shitty. The original DNI report from late 2016 probably should be illegal. Like, I don't know. I mean, far be it for me to say things should be illegal, but you know what? Being a politician should be illegal. Although that's some sort of weird paradox. So, anyways, the original DNI report from late 2016 rightly said Russia didn't favor Trump and didn't work to elect Trump, even holding back damaging intel on Clinton. Obama nevertheless ordered a new report to be created that tied Trump to Russia. On Obama's direction, Brennan and Clapper manufactured intel and included the Hillary Clinton paid-for sealed dossier in the new report, despite warnings from CIA analysts it was untrustworthy. Chairman Grassley calls this one of the biggest political scandals and cover-ups in American history. I think the big problem we're running into in here, and I've heard this somewhere. I don't know what crimes are even technically maybe being broken here. And I think most of this stuff happened, 2015? What was it, like 20? I swear it was like 2016, 2017. It's currently 2025. Even if these are crimes, the things that are being said here, what's the statute of limitations? TikTok, motherfucker, get going. Cool. Fucking do something. Because, we were talking about this before I went on vacation. Has anyone, maybe I missed it. Somebody tell me, has anyone been called up? Is anyone getting the screws put on them? Is anyone in jail? Is anyone being charged with whatever? What's going on? Is anything happening other than just tune in next time on Today in America? Guess what this happened? Like, nothing happening though. I mean, I don't know. What is this? Okay, cool. Do something. All right, let's roll through the chat, and then we'll get into our Anthony Aguilar, talk about him. So let's check in on you guys. Says black and yellow psychological warfare. Am I right? I don't even know what you mean by black, to be honest. I wish I did. Knife Safety Plus, glad to have you back on YouTube. Rumble ads are made for schizo boomers and creep me the fuck out. Yeah, it is weird. I get it. I understand that for sure. Aggressively agreeing. Oh, look, everything we know happened. Cool. Thanks, Tim Pool. Exactly. It says you haven't been on a trip to Kiev during your 20s either, I hope. No, actually, man, you're going to like force me to like one of these days be like, here's my DD-214. Look how fucking boring it is. Like, I deployed to Qatar in, like, it was, like, 2015, I think. That's the only place I've been. After I fucking, when I joined in 2010, I think? Sounds right. Yeah, my time, I don't know. 2010-ish, and then I fucking failed out, and then I went to, so you went to Lackland for basic training, I think, and then because I went SEER, I stayed in Lackland after basic training to do tech school or selection or whatever, I guess you call it, which is like 2 weeks in Lackland. And then they send you up to Washington if you make it past selection, which Washington's where you do your like year-long tech school for SEER, at least at that time. It may have changed since then. It's been a long time. But anyways, so yeah, 2 weeks. So anyways, I didn't end up going to Washington because I failed out. And I failed out in Lackland in the 2-week selections, and then I fucking got sent over to Shepherd, which is in Wichita. So I did like a few months or something there for tech school, which means all I was doing was learning how to be an aircraft mechanic, and still having to deal with some gay-ass military rules, kind of like basic, but not as bad. And then I got stationed, and after that they stationed me in Florida, and then I've been here since. So because I used to work like an hour away from here, so. Yeah, but no, the only place I ever really went aside from stateside was Qatar for a deployment in like 2015. So I went there for like 4 months. It was pretty uneventful. I fixed planes and went home. I drove the bus for like a month or so there. That was fun. All right, let's keep going through the chat. No Hablo says Charlie is the fakest and the gayest of the political shills. I'm surprised they haven't placed administration. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he kind of grosses me out. Scrolling through. Says, read the scroll. Says that Aguilar interview that Tucker was where I said some assy shit about BB and got the ban. Huh. Interesting. You should get Comrade Ass Cream to corroborate your story. What's going on? Do you think Ass Cream is the Fed now? I don't even understand what the Comrade Ass Cream. What is okay? I know that's one of our other guys. He shows up on Already Dead all the time. Is he? I don't even understand. What is it? Man, you what? I don't even know what you're getting at, dude. Is it ass creams? Do you think he's a Fed or something? All right, what did you spend all that Qatar money on? I was married at the time. Like, I don't know. I didn't really. Really when you deploy, unless you're going to like a combat zone or something, like if you really the way you make a ton of money for those. If anyone's joining the military is in the military, the way you do it is if you're married, you really don't make that much more money. You make a little bit more, I guess, but not a ton. Really, the move is if you're like a single guy, because then what you can do is like whenever you deploy, is then you just put all your shit in storage. You break your lease and then just save up all that money. But when I was deployed, I still had shit to pay for because my whole family was still stateside, so nothing. I didn't really get shit. All right, enough of that. Let's go into this. This is, let me make sure the audio's still working. It is, and this is, I pulled this from, I thought this was a particularly interesting clip yesterday. I listened to this, the Breaking Points interview. So I said here, former Green Beret Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar is an American hero. It's to protect this man at all costs. Here describes what the GHF is, the Global Humanitarian, I don't know, whatever. The Gaza Humanitarian, whatever. And I forget what it stands for, but essentially they're supposed to be the aid organization that's over there helping So recalls how the IDF ordered firing on children and how saying no to such a request would be saying no to the client. So I thought this was like one of the most interesting little snippets out of this interview. I think it reveals a lot about what's going on over there. But by the way, when I said he was an American hero too, I was kind of playing a little bit to BoomerCon because I meant that in a little bit of a sneaky way. Because like I actually don't. While I know a lot of people have this like knee jerk like. I mean, you guys probably know I'm a little bit of a cynic when it comes to this. I do not have a knee jerk like anymore. Like respect the military. Like oh, he's a goddamn Green Beret. He's a fucking American hero. Like no, if anything, I'm like no, that's a hired murderer. Like so, like if anything, like me saying he's an American hero, it's like in spite of that. And if anything, it's like now there is just a unique thing, which maybe some of you military people would see it, where there are some guys who are like. I guess you could say drank the Kool-Aid and actually are genuinely, I guess you could say good in that. So like, I mean, and then like, how do I put this? Like they bought the propaganda that they're doing good things. And so if anything, like they're the ones that are, while they are still technically doing wrong, it's almost like they're doing it. They think they're doing right. So it is in a weird, perverse way, kind of a display of moral character. I mean, a little bit of display of retardation as well. I get the vibe that Lieutenant Colonel is kind of like that. He actually, the vibe I've gotten is he seems like a stand-up guy. He reminds me of a lot of the rare people I would meet when I was in the military of like good leaders. And I was like, that's a good guy. That's what he strikes me as. So maybe I'm wrong. And also I know for like my understanding of like spec ops officers is like, that's like harder from my understanding than being a spec ops enlisted. Like, it's fucking, like, it's no joke. Like, it's hard shit. So, I mean, there is to some extent a little bit of props for you to be able to pull it off, but it is like, just, that's impressive, but it is also, let's be real, you're a hired murderer. I'm a little bit, if anything, I'm saying he's an American hero for what he's doing here, not for that. But I was a little bit playing to the BoomerCon audience. I know what I'm doing. But let's go ahead and play this.
GHF is an idea. There's the only people to GHF are.
I saw the audio is weird. I don't know what the fuck is up with the recorder on my phone, but sorry.
Are Johnny Moore in a microphone and his PR guy. That's what GHF is. SRS as the contract has all of the people doing the work. How they're getting paid, I don't know. But I do know because this was said to me to my face after I witnessed an Israeli liaison officer telling his snipers to open fire on 3 children to get them off of a berm on site number 2. I witnessed this. I was in the operations center. The gentleman, the COO or I don't know what positions they had for SRS because I didn't work for them, but a person that was in charge of operations in the control center beckoned over to me. We go outside and he says, because the Israeli officer was like, shoot them. And I was like, no. This individual then tells me, never say no to the client. And I asked him, I was like, I'm confused. Like, walk me through this. What do you mean? Who's the client? He said, the IDF are our client. Never say no to the client. And I was like, the IDF are our client? I was like, are you telling me that this entire contract, like the IDF? He was like, we're not going to get into that, but the IDF are our client. So we have a combatant in a war who is our client, who dictate every site, where we deliver, when we deliver, how we deliver, who we deliver it to, while they're engaged in a war with all of these issues going on that are just, at this point, just fact. It's concerning. It has to be looked at.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, I'd heard rumors about the shady, but I mean, I'm really getting weird. It's pretty, I mean, it's very fucked up. I don't even really know how to properly, you really got to check out this interview. It does lay out, just the dynamic on the ground it's fucked up. But let's get into, this thread. Now I've said there are people who are calling him a liar. Now, I don't know how deep into this I'm going to go because it really does get super into minutia. And while I know a lot of people don't want to trust him, and I get it, but it's like he's a guy from, if you watch the Breaking Points interview, and then I haven't watched, I guess, from my understanding, I haven't watched the Tucker Carlson one. I'm sure, I don't think he even goes into the responses yet, but apparently He's already getting ready to go back on with Tucker to respond to all of this bullshit, but he already gave, I guess, a bit of a response on breaking points, and he brought a bunch of receipts, and he's putting his name on the line, whereas I'm seeing a ton of the people who are calling this guy out. The little bit I've skimmed through some of these claims, a lot of people calling him out for this and that it's kind of, completely anonymous, this or that. So weird. Why won't you put your name on it? So anyways, let's go on. So this guy is saying, this is from Green Beret Nap Time, which is one of those, fucking whatever accounts. He says, Lieutenant Colonel, as R, so I guess reserves. Maybe he was reserves, or maybe he's retired. I don't know what he means by the R there. Tony Aguilar is not only a liar, but he's also an unhinged, incompetent narcissist, and I can prove it. He says, buckle up because his threat includes receipts that proves Tony was fired for cause, begged for his job back, resorted to threats when he was denied, and ultimately made up a story to get back at his previous employer and gain personal fame and notoriety. He even forged an official document that he then sent to the press. And then this was a quote tweeting another talking shit about this guy. He's saying a reservist officer somewhere, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you can see, he says, you keep saying source, who? Who's this source? Who's this source? Where do we verify any of this? Source. And, I think if we go through here, you literally even hear anonymous source. So it's like, what are these anonymous sources? It seems weird, especially when he comes out saying incredibly condemning things about Israel. We get all this. So yeah, okay, let's get back to the original thread. But I was just kind of showing that what they're up. It just seems kind of deranged. First off, let's kind of go through this. It says, let's start with a bit about Tony's background in the Army, a career that looks fine on paper, which I've told you guys I'm Air Force. So there's going to be, I may not know a lot of shit. Was not the guy, like I said, that was big into military jargon. I was a knuckle dragging mechanic. If anything, I thought all the fucking and then you have to do this at this time, and then you have to do the right face, and then, I thought all that shit was gay. And then if anything, that was kind of generally the mentality of maintainers, is kind of that shit's gay. We sort of knew that shit because you have to study it for promotion, but that's to the extent we really knew it. And you kind of knew enough to clean up to look a little bit better if a full bird or above is coming around or something. You're we gotta look nice. Or if Chief's coming through or some shit. We know enough to look nice, so... career looks fine on paper. He has some striking red flags that those that understand the Special Forces community will immediately recognize, which I admittedly do not. I would say I do not recognize it. I know we've joked a little bit. I don't know to degree our little buddy in the chat is serious or not. If he thinks I'm a vet, I don't know. I don't fucking care. But I don't have inside info. I wish I kind of did a little bit here. I did 2 weeks. That's the extent of what I could say I had any sort of in that realm. And even then, those that are in that realm would say, you weren't in that realm. Now, I know Air Force, I will say, when I say it, Air Force, they kind of included the SEER guys in there because it was super physical. It was strenuous. It was incredibly high recidivism rate is what it's called, people failing out. So they kind of included it, but it does always feel like I have to caveat it because I'm it's not a combat job. It's not really Special Forces. But sometimes they do get attached to Special Forces units. Typically, though, just as liaisons or whatever. What the word I'm looking for. Anyways, Tony boasted he commanded from the platoon level to the battalion level. It says an email I'll share later. But what he fails to disclose is that none of those commands were in Special Forces. His only commands, his only Special Forces command was as a captain on an ODA. I don't even know what a fucking ODA is. His subsequent commands were at SWCS, a training group, and 18th Airborne, respectively. Which, by the way, I know a lot of you guys are military, so feel free to sound off in the chat if you get any sort of impressions from this that he is lying or is not, because I know a lot of you guys are military, and maybe you guys were Army, or maybe you were combat, and maybe you have a little bit more know-how about some of this stuff, and you can get impressions on. But I don't know. This seems like a pretty gay, honestly, so far. It says, for those of you unaware, if a Special Forces officer is not chosen to command in Special Forces at the company and then battalion level, then they were passed over for a reason. The scraps are commanding a non-Special Forces unit, unless you were picked to command at JSOC or some other SMU, which is entirely different. It's a clear sign this officer was not fit for command in the regiment. Now, what I do want to say there, obviously, I have no idea the dynamics of Special Forces. Like I said, obviously, maybe people joke and say maybe I do, but whatever. I'm not that cool. But I do. This does make me think of like, especially we're talking about officers. I also do have to point out that I have an enlisted man's perspective. This guy is an officer, so they're like the guys supposed to be running the show. They're a different thing. They're the leaders. So I'm seeing it from the ground level, but I can tell you from my jaded, cynical enlisted man perspective of like when I hear this sort of jargon of like, oh, if a special force is not officer and and it sounds like, oh, you're meaning that he wasn't, he didn't provide the proper shine upwards to the people above him in the hierarchy of the army or whatever. That's what it sounds like you're saying to me, which if anything, generally speaking, from an enlisted man's perspective, means he's a good person. Because these are the two forces you usually have going on. And what you're always told is like as NCOs, or let's say I'm assuming junior officers and like officers at like the mid level, you're supposed to take care of your people. But then at some point the careerism mindset takes over and it pulls you another way. And it's usually the people who are very, very, very eager to please those above them that will destroy those below them. And it sounds to me that maybe, just maybe I'm reading too much into this, that little paragraph right there is just describing how this guy is not a cocksucker and is a good person. Maybe. Because I've seen people like this. I've seen people like this where they are just genuinely that the stereotypical like, I joined because I believe and like, they are like, I came here to do the mission and whatever, and like, and they they end up like kind of going a different way because they're not one that's going to bend to leadership, because they are while they are kind of, I think, misguided in a certain sense, they clearly have some sort of moral character. Obviously I think it's being pointed the wrong way. But that's the impression I'm getting from that. But maybe I'm wrong. After his 18th Airborne Command, yes, it is telling for a Special Forces officer to command in a regular Army unit. I don't really know what that means, to be honest. He found himself returning to SWCS as a staff officer miles away from the thought of a command billet. He then floundered there doing nothing of value for a few years before finally being forced out because of the inability to continue moving up in rank. Which I will say, like, he's lieutenant colonel. Like, that's not a low rank. I mean, that's decent. I mean, he's not full bird, so he didn't go hard. But if anything, actually, that kind of goes back to it's kind of like an enlistment level, as Air Force. The way I always kind of looked at it is you kind of lose yourself almost borderline. Like, there was some senior master sergeants, which was the E8, it tops out at E9, which is chief. There were some good seniors that I knew that I was like, oh, that's a good person. He takes care of his people, yada, yada, yada. Actually a good person. And then there was, I'd say majority of the time, you're like, no, that's where you lose yourself. They're stuck in careerism. They're just trying to suck off the person above them. But it's like master sergeant where you top out. And I'd say officer, my impression was always lieutenant colonel was probably the highest you could usually get without being a complete and utter fucking cunt. Before you, it's almost like there's this breaking point you reach, whether you're enlisted, maybe even officer, where you're there's you get to a point where you realize maybe you just see beyond the veil and you're like, oh, this is really gay. And it's I feel like that's the level. I feel like for enlisted, it's around staff to master, where you're you peek beyond the veil and you're like, oh, this shit's really fucking gay. It's all bureaucratic faggotry. Oh my god. And it's the same, I think it's probably the same thing in the officer level. I mean, maybe they don't conceptualize it in that way, but I do think it's almost these two forces that are working against each other. Now it's time for the real information. Despite Tony's claim that he resigned from his position, he was most definitely fired. It's actually hilarious that Tony would try to claim he resigned when he sent the text below shortly after being fired from his position. He starts with, Dan, I can be of value to the team. You know that. I just retired from 25 years in the Army in March, just a bit over 60 days. It's hard to break or even recognize the way I am. Does a person that just resigned send texts like this? Says, tomorrow and Sunday are my 2 days off. I want to stay on the team and on the contract. Put in an ops support role. Put the guy coming in on Saturday as a JOCTL, and I'll be support to ops. Do I need to break this down more? You can see the response text. You can see him admitting he was wrong. He was clearly relieved for the cause. As a result, reasonings for his dismissal were discussed with him. I accept responsibility for not being self-aware enough to self-correct, but I will. He was fired. He admits he was fired. He begs for his job back. Now he's lying about it. Now, I will say, I'm not going to go into the details of this. I'm pretty sure this is complete and utter bullshit already. You can check out Cigars. This completely looks like taken out of context nonsense. So you can go. I'm not going to even try to respond to that. Maybe in the next thread I go through, it will. But yeah, and the response to Sagar, it kind of goes into how these were deceptively shown at like the timing of such. So yeah, he even showed on Sagar's how they sent him a letter essentially begging for him back, and he said, "No, I can't. Kind of this goes against my values." So it's like, anyways, the following day, June 14th, he sent another text. This one is Tony once again admitting that he was wrong and that he was fired, and then begging for his job back. Say, "I do not want to leave. I understand my current contract as a JTalk operator is terminated. Fine. But I can be put on a new contract." Weirdly, he would lie about this, but be telling the truth about his claims of murder. Writes, let's see this. So 14 June, it says on there. So a week later, it starts getting interesting. Tony realizes his first attempt at work outside the Army, much like his Army career, was falling apart, and would further tarnish his already dubious reputation in Special Forces circles. So he started lashing out with threats, and you guessed it, more and more lies. Sends another message on June 21st. "John, got it. I just came off chemo from stage 4 cancer before I took this job. Both of my children are adopted. One is blind, the other is autistic. I understand family 1000%. All the more why me being here is important. I earned 2 Purple Hearts, a Silver Star, and a Bronze Star for valor in combat. Look it up. I will drag my nuts across 100 miles of glass before I capitulate to bullshit. Figure something out, or I'm on a plane come Tuesday and the gloves are off." Now it says facts. Tony has only 1 Purple Heart. What the fuck? I don't know. He does not have a Silver Star. Does he not? I don't know. I mean, he never had cancer at any stage. Only one of his children is adopted, and none of them are blind. Okay. I mean, I don't. Whatever. It seems weird this guy would even who the fuck is this guy? I don't know how he would even know any of these things about him. I don't know. I mean, hell, I guess to kind of joke off the guy fedjacking me. Part of it is because I don't know. I mean, I guess you could probably. Someone really wanted to dox me, so you probably could figure out a lot of stuff. I'm not that good at. I guess maybe that's not a good point. Point being is, it's not everyone you can really, especially military guys, because it's especially because he was a lieutenant colonel who was yeah, I guarantee you he probably had his social media and stuff on lock. Now that I think about it, if he was in command of multiple units as a lieutenant colonel, and he had probably had his social media on lock. So he's not someone you could probably really easily look up a lot of shit. Now some of the stuff I don't know, maybe Silver Star is or something is and the Bronze Star or whatever. Maybe these are publicly available information. I don't know. I don't even care, honestly. I couldn't give 2 fucks if you lied about it. Honestly, I know everyone gets all upset about stolen valor. I mean, sure, gay, but I don't know. Whatever. I don't fucking care. I mean, yeah, it would not go good for to showing whether you're a liar or not. I'll grant that for sure. But anyways, point being is the idea of not knowing that he's only one of his kids adopted, none of them are blind. It's how would you even know that? I don't know. It just seems like a weird. How do you know this? So I mean, I'm not just going to assume that's. I mean, maybe this guy's right. Maybe he is lying about those things. But okay, I mean, I'm supposed to take Green Beret nap time's fucking word for this. Okay. Which then here's a picture of that, of what he said there. Now, he did respond to that too. He said that was in response to, he was upset because I guess he said someone literally assaulted him, and this was in response to wanting to pursue legal claims. So I don't even think he meant plain come to them. I think he didn't. When he meant gloves off, he doesn't mean I'm going to literally beat the fuck out of you. He meant I'm going to press charges. Is what I think he said on Sagar, is my understanding. The next day, he texts another UG Solutions lead, and you can see he's getting more aggressive and erratic. He says, Mo, I like you. This doesn't have to be this way. I can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. Stop fucking around. Put me back to work, and let's get this mission done. Says, you can see the rest of the threats. He ends with, as I stated, you're a good dude. If you want to play games, we can play games. The threats just keep on coming. Which he sort of responded to this as well before. So, yeah. I don't know. Once again, go check out the Sagar thing. We might get into some of this in a minute. So he then fabricated a memo and then backdated it to May 28th. Then when he actually created on July 21st, the same day that he sent the memo to company personnel and the press. As you will see in the Fluid report coming up, he could not have even made the memo May 28th due to him just entering the country at that time and having no access to computer the data required to create such a memo. He also failed to realize that the company could pull the metadata from the memo and see that it was actually created on July 21st, 2025, and modified the same day. More lies and fraud from an obvious liar and fraud. I mean, okay, maybe this looks a little bit more legit, although I don't know. Any tech nerds out there? Can this be faked? I mean, I will say, like, I'm hesitant to go, oh my God, because, like, I just see nerd shit, and I go, I don't know what you're telling me here. Okay. And I just go, oh my God, oh, you circled some nerd shit. Oh. Like, okay. I mean, someone nerd without that. Is this like damning? I mean, does XMP create date 2025/07/21T la 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 la? Is this like super damning shit? I don't know. I mean, also, is this screenshot even prove anything? Because I don't know. Because, like, how do I even know that this thing that they're showing me a picture of is associated with another thing? Like, this could be an entire file. And honestly, so much of this is like, I'm seeing it. Frankly, it looks shady. Like the Green Beret. If you want to break this down by sides, like this guy, like, and all his ilk. This just seems shady. I don't know. This seems, because it's all seems to be. Oh, this what am I trying to say? This anonymous source, which I guess, to be fair, you can kind of use the cover as like, well, they're military and they have rules about public relations, which I don't know. That's weak, though. Come on, that's weak. I mean, I don't know. Like, somebody's got to put their name on something. Like, this is, I don't know. Anyways, this means nothing to me. This is some nerd shit. Okay, nerd shit happened. Okay, I feel like whatever this is, somebody could show me a picture and go, oh, this is nerd shit. This proves nothing to me. Next, I will share with you the report from Fluid. Counsel to UG in this matter. It says Tony is making. Let me see. All right, I'm already getting pretty fucking bored with this, and this is getting really gay. Honestly, it just seems to be super duper reaching. Like, you'd think as long as this is, if there was damning stuff, it'd be earlier. I'm not even going to bother going further. We'll go through the opposite thread that kind of does the, I guess, kind of gives the more the, how do I put it, the, I guess kind of coming to is taking his side a little bit more. So we'll go through that in a second. Let's check through. Good morning, Eddie Grimm. Good morning. Swedish Doom Goblin is speaking Russian. Says, Queen Khaled says, my dad was in for 24 years, and you could never tell him a single thing he did wasn't to protect America. Exactly. He says, my husband, on the other hand, makes jokes nonstop about providing a worn bracelet of freedom for me anytime I make fun of him for being in the Army. Exactly. Yeah, never say never say never to murdering kids, guys. It will anger our satanic God if there's no child sacrifice. Satan is our client, says Yves Tyson, 100%. Good morning, says good morning, no hablo. Moloch must be fed. United States, he says Green Berets are little bitches when I bring out the Somali heat. Gerald Hall says ODA is glowing as fuck. Operation Detachment Alpha. Ooh. Okay. So he says the ODA guy is the head N-word in charge for Black Ops shit. Now, okay, Gerald, who now go back me up. I mean, I guess I could read back through that, but who was who do you remember who they said was ODA here? Or like they saying, because I thought they were talking shit. Like if they were saying that Aguilar, like, oh, he's just ODA. And then you're saying that's super glowy. Then I'd be like, well, then what'd be a weird thing for somebody to say if that was like, because to them that'd be cool. I mean, to us outside looking in, you're like, dude, you glow. But yeah. Eddie Grimm says, I fucking hated when we had SEALs on board. They were always fucking eating and always on gym equipment, fucking locust noobs. Yeah, Comment Mama says they don't kiss ass so well. I'm assuming referring to kind of like the ones who don't make as much rank. Adrian Brody says, do Black Op teams do important work like procuring and moving trafficked children around the elites? I don't know. I obviously I didn't get best selection. I would assume there's got to be some sort of like, way that some of them get pulled into the whatever. I would think that it would probably be more along the lines of like kind of how the CIA does their like public-private stuff, and they probably just pull some of them to like kind of do both or something like that. And then maybe it's like a sheep dipping thing. Now, I'm sure there are like glowy operations that are done, but I'd say the like really dark shit, I would assume is probably more in that public-private realm if I had to guess. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're just willy-nilly just fucking, yep, go ahead and go do this under the purview of the literal government. I just feel like that would be, they'd want to distance themselves a little bit. So I feel like technically these special forces guys are actually probably typically doing stuff that they can at least probably wrap their head around being noble in some way, shape, or form, as opposed to trafficking children. But now some of them, I wouldn't be surprised if that's recruiting grounds for that. So, okay, Gerald. Okay, let me scroll through. All right, all this shit glows, Jose, says Gerald. It does. I mean, it glows, but at the same time, if it was someone from this realm that talked, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes there are good people in these realms, so it is hard to say. And like, I am expecting Swerve, but at the same time, everything he says comports with everything. So it's like, and then I don't know. This is why I'm bringing it to you guys. I know I have a decent amount of military guys, so maybe you guys will be like, "Oh shit, that's weird. This is weird." But if anything, the vibe I get is he strikes me as one of those rare guys that seems to be a good guy, and then he just kind of got to that point in his career where he kind of couldn't really make any more rank as a good guy, and kind of got pushed out, retired, whatever, and then kind of seemed like he wanted to do something good over here, and then realized, holy shit, this is fucked up. So yeah, late, is this guy legit or not? I don't know. We're still working through it, Tyler. Aguilar is the guy talking about the Palestinian kids getting targeted by Israelis. Yep, he sure is. Okay, a covert operation black that uses visible emotional triggers. Yellow to manipulate perception, says Shy Yuan. Oh, thank you for that explanation of what, I forget what, Doom Goblin? I think that's his name, said earlier. So that would be the black and yellow. Covert operation that uses visible emotional triggers. Yellow to manipulate. Okay, interesting. Yellow. Where's their yellow? Oh, my show. I didn't even think about that. Oh, are you like legit? Okay, I get that. I get it. Yeah, I do have the crazy woo, like, hypnotized vibe. Okay, I didn't even think of that. I forgot that was even my branding when you were saying that, dude. All right, checks together. I get your reference now that you think I'm like MK Ultraing you with it. I actually picked those colors. I don't know, whatever. If anything, it was actually Top's design. So maybe Top's trying to hypnotize you. I don't know. I don't think he's that evil. Just a little bit. And then Gerald says, Aguilar, if it's the dude exposing shit, is a good guy. I agree. Okay, cool. Well, then there you go. Even as much as I know you're Gerald as schizo as you are like me, that's the vibe I'm getting. He seems legit. He seems legit to me so far. So maybe I'm wrong. Read the scroll, says glowing like the 9/11 fires that burned for months. I mean, I give it to you. The components of glowing are there, but I mean, just from the little bit, he seems like, if like as a lieutenant colonel, I think he said that he did 25 years. So it's like as a lieutenant colonel did 25 years to some degree as special forces. They're kind of correct, and it does seem like you'd think someone, an officer with 25 years as special forces should probably get at least full bird. You'd think, but if anything, as I get to like that, if anything, that's to me more of an indication he was actually probably a really good leader. So yeah. Oh, he said I wasn't talking about Aguilar, but the other dude. Yeah. This guy, the Green Beret. Yeah, this guy that's like coming out the woodworks to say everything awful about this guy. So, all right, here's Mel, Village Crazy Lady. She's got a lot of good stuff. So she said she went through and screenshot all the messages GHF is using to smear Anthony Aguilar. She said, 1, GHF started operating in Gaza on May 28, 2025. All the messages of praise for GHF are from the first couple days. The red box quote is literally from day 1. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so this quote, I guess they use this quote. It's a privilege and an honor to see America's best doing America's most important work in places most Americans will only ever see on TV or read about. Now, apparently, I guess people were using this out of context, is what Mel is saying here. Whereas this was literally a day 1 thing. And keep in mind, I'm pretty sure he was some sort of team leader. He believed he said that on the thing. If anything, he said he got promoted like 6 times within like the first day or two. If anything, though, that was a point to this is something's weird about this. But either way, point being, they clearly tried to foist a lot of the leadership onto him. And which makes sense. Just kind of getting my point. This is very officer, like a good officer vibe, and like he's kind of doing the chipper. Hey guys, you guys doing a good job. Like kind of moral, hunky dory type fucking shit. Which is that's to some degree a lot about what they're about, anyways. So, let me get out of that. All right. And it says, pretty sure Aguilar was sometime a team leader is what she says, and all these messages seem worded to keep morale boosted. So here you can see examples. So here's him. There's a famous story about a kid. It says, yesterday I see it too. This young girl has no shoes, walked for miles, carrying a sack of food that weighs more than she does. Hungry, tired, filthy, with a smile on her face. How? Why? Because you've given her hope for tomorrow. Hope that things will improve. Life will get better. A feeling she likely has not known in a long time. You're making a difference every day, every hour, every minute. Di appresso liber. Who dares wins. Says you're making a difference. Price of market flour. Here's another one. Says you're making a difference. Price of black market flour went from 100 shekel per kilogram to 40 shekel per kilogram. Why? The amount of flour you put into Gaza. Hamas is telling people not to go into the whatever. They're coming anyway. So, it looks like he was some sort of, leader. This is pretty early on. So he's obviously being optimistic at this point. He's trying to, provide morale. And it says, according to GHF, Aguilar was fired on June 13th. His messages on the 14th show there were clearly problems on the ground they took issue with, but he thought he could help. Interestingly, that GHF chose not to show the whole message on his pic. Before the message cuts off, Aguilar says, the issues we have require leadership to fix. That's what's missing. This isn't an operator job. So I guess I didn't show the whole message. So let's watch this. She says, I'm going to send you, or read this. Says, I'm going to send you some thoughts to consider with the UGS leadership. Okay, so this is the one from earlier, but I guess it got cut off. So there you go. Once again, more. They deceptively edited certain things. I guess maybe they didn't deceptively edit, but why would you cut that off there? Weird. Anyways, let's read the full thing we didn't see earlier. It says, I'm going to send you some thoughts to consider. I said, I do not want to leave. I understand my current contract as a JTAC operator is terminated. Fine, but I can be put on a new contract. If Taz liking that or not is the fear, then UGS is being held hostage. Just today, reports from the SRS people that live in Beersheba are that Taz lost again. This time on Joe. Ask Joe. I can be of huge value to this company and contract. Take advantage of me as an asset. No one else in this contract has the planning, leadership, and experience that I bring. Infantry, Ranger Regiment, Special Forces commanded at every level. The issues we have are easy to fix, but requires leadership. That's what lacking. The lead for this mission is not an operator job for whatever the hell operator means in the security guard world. This role requires, and then it cuts off. So we don't see more of it. All right. And then these messages are cherry picked from June 12th to June 22. They aren't even placed in order. It's hard to tell what's happening and why, which I'm not going to go through them. So that's the thing. Like, these are all just different messages that they've been, just screenshotting, and I'm not even going to bother going through these because they're all out of order and whatever, and it's just kind of too much to follow. This is in the part not highlighted in the June 21st message says both his kids are adopted, both have medical issues, one is blind, one is autistic, and family means everything to him. He won't capitulate on bullshit, so they figure something out, the gloves will come off. Sounds like he's demanding a change in protection for those in Gaza. There's a reason they only zoomed in on the last line. And let me see. It says figure something out. Okay, so they zoomed in the last line. Okay, so we already covered that. So I guess they originally, when they were sharing around, they only showed they literally were only showing this. They were showing figure something out, or I'm on a plane come Tuesday and the gloves are off. So once again, maybe Aguilar is complete glowy and this is all bullshit. But at the very least, we can say the campaign against him is really fucking gross. So, maybe that's contrived so that, us people out there go, oh, he's totally legit. So, I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind. Maybe it all glows. Maybe it's all bullshit. But everything seems to line up. And, I don't know. And I feel like looking at this stuff with good faith and seeing how this shit's all over the place, I don't know. I find ways to be like, this kind of seems like a smear job. This is what it feels like. And not like an honest one. Not in like a, hey, here's someone who's lying and I feel I have the need to tell you. And so here's this, that, and this. Like, no, this feels like smears. This feels like going through every which way to be like how they're, and just into a way that looks ridiculous and clearly looks like you're attempting a smear job. You no longer are in the realm of like just trying to give, prudent, feedback on what the fuck he's doing that's wrong. I don't know. It's going way too far. It kind of reveals what's going on. And lastly, there's more text where he says he wants to go back because he believes he can help. But why is that considered scandalous? If you thought he could change the situation on the ground by being present, why wouldn't you try to go back? Because, that's a point he did bring up in the interview. He's like, this whole, like, wanting to come back shit is that he said, like, he did kind of wrestle with the idea of, like, that, like, maybe I could help by being there. But he's kind of like, I don't know. Mel says, long story short, closer examinations, these texts aren't nearly as damning as all the zitches are trying to make them out to be. GHF doesn't deserve a single benefit of a doubt. They are huge chunks of the story being left out. There's a reason for that. Reminder that GHS first executive, Jake Wood, resigned the day before launch, saying, however, it is clear that it is not possible to implement this plan while also strictly adhering to the humanitarian principles of humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence, which I will not abandon, he added. Which, I don't know. Once again, like, I know everyone wants, oh, this guy glows, this, and maybe he does. But at the same time, like, I don't find it that unbelievable, I guess, to the extent to what, from my daily coverage of Gaza, and how awful it is over there for someone who did a career in the U.S. military, the United States military, which, don't get me wrong, is very much responsible for all sorts of horrors around the world. But even then, I feel like there's a slightly different dynamic at play there. I don't think it's that crazy for someone to do a career in the U.S. military and then go over to Gaza and be absolutely appalled by what is going on and reach a breaking point and feel the need to speak out. I don't find that crazy. I know we are in the land of the parapolitical, we're in the land of the schizo, and we are kind of knee-jerk, like, we don't want to believe these sort of people, but I gotta say, everything's lining up. The receipts I've seen, and then you look at the counter smear job that's going on. It appears completely disingenuous. Now, I remain open to the idea that he is some sort of glowy or some sort of op or something, but I'm not. It's just so weak to me at this point. I don't know. Someone tell me otherwise. I mean, once again, a lot of this is kind of like nerd stuff, and it's kind of like inside baseball, military jargon, this and that. So, like, to some degree, I'm a little bit lost. I feel like I'm a little bit better in some way than the average person, but ultimately I'm lost, and to some degree, I just kind of have to behave somewhat in good faith, and I don't know. It matches up with everything I've seen. It seems to be legit. So, that's where I'm at. So... But let's roll the chat, see what you guys gonna say, and then let's watch a couple videos and get out of here. So yeah. So LPR says I've watched both interviews. Dude seems to have his facts and receipts since finding out the evils of the whatever. I think he tied out. What's fucked up is this genocide has been going on since the Nakba. Only now are people able to speak out without being labeled an anti-Semite. Says read the scroll. Yeah, it's just become so overwhelming that it just doesn't work anymore. Real John Doe. Hey, what's up, dude? Good to see you here. Are you going to talk about Hamas's Israeli intelligence ties? I should cover that at some point. That's a good point. I never really got into that Shin Bet Qatar, whole weird connection. That's probably what you're getting at. Yeah, they definitely have their connections all in there. Feel free to tag me in something like that, because that actually would be a good little rabbit hole to go on the morning show one of these days. So, John Black says I like the commentary. This is nerd shit. Seems pretty gay. Jose, master of sophisticated commentary. Yeah. So the truth of the matter in Gaza is the truth regardless of telling it. Exactly. All right, let's make fun of Tulsi for a little bit. She's gone. There's been a couple clips going around of her. Let's finish off with these. I had a little bit of Epstein stuff I was going to go through with you guys, but it took a little too long. We'll cover that stuff not tomorrow, but I guess Monday, assuming I don't pick up a shift that day. So, all right, let's get into this. Let's watch. We got a couple videos for you guys. So let's see what. I haven't watched these yet, so I'm reacting to them with you. But I guess Tulsi has been going on a little bit of a media tour and kind of seeming to run with some of the administration talking points. Let's see what she has to say.
Dan Bongino posted a cryptic message on X the other day.
I read it.
Yeah, he said, it shocked me. What I found out at my time at the FBI has shocked me down to the core. We cannot run a republic like this, and I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. I'm not expecting you to answer for him, but have you felt that way when you've being there?
I have seen up close and personal the tactics that are used by those who care more for themselves, their ambition, their job, their influence, their political interests, their selfish, self-serving interests than they care about the Constitution. That every single one of these law enforcement and intelligence community professionals swear an oath, just like I have, both in uniform in the military and as a member of Congress and as Director of National Intelligence, to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. This is why what we are doing matters so much. So yes, I have my own frustrations, trust me, but my resolve is...
Is it just me, or is she looking more and more evil? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. She's like, I don't know. She's like her face is like thinned out and like I mean, she's still like the hot look, but like it's like hot evil now. It's become, I don't know. The physiognomy is becoming less like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's like when you turn to the dark side, your shit starts changing. You know, once the adrenochrome starts kicking in.
National intelligence to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. This is why what we are doing matters so much. So yes, I have my own frustrations, trust me, but my resolve is focused and is rooted in my love for our country and my belief in the values and principles that our country was founded upon, and therefore the responsibility that I carry to do something about that which we are revealing, that which I am seeing and experiencing firsthand. It is a heavy responsibility, but it's also an awesome one, and I spend every day doing my best to fulfill it.
Yeah, okay, fucking doubt. All right, cool. Well, I mean, this also, I guess, kind of opens up the commentary, because I did kind of, I think it was like right after I left, there was that weird post from Bongino. He made some sort of weird post like, I'll never be the same after learning what I learned. Actually, let's see if we can find it real quick. Maybe we can have fun looking at that post. I mean, it can't be too far back. He doesn't post all that much. Okay, let me see. This one. Say, all right, never mind. I probably should have had that one ready. Is it this one? All right, whatever. He had some posts about how he was like, maybe he deleted it. I don't know where it is. Either way, old Bongino, that retarded gorilla, had some posts about like, I saw so much shit, and then it ended with some sort of nonsense, kind of like what Tulsi said here, kind of like, and so it's my duty as a goddamn fucking representative, and I'm gonna and salute type shit, yeah. I'm going to give you a fucking, we're going to look into this stuff and we're going to get truth and her. So it was weird because it was like the first half of that message does seem to comport to what like people are like, he does. I'm not going to lie. You see Bongino out and about, some of the clips we've watched, here and there, and then stuff he's saying. And just the little bit I know about him, I do feel like of the people out there that are like probably struggling the most with it, it is at least believable. I mean, maybe he doesn't care at all. Maybe he's just a complete fucking retard that's just like, do I get my paycheck? Like, I don't know. Like, but he does strike me of like, if there were any of these people that like really bothers them, probably him and maybe Tulsi a little bit, but I don't know. I have no idea. It's hard to tell to what degree she's just a conniving cunt. But anyways, so like, yeah, Bongino. I mean, but then he ends with the second half of like, but then we're gonna, that's why I'm doing this and I'm gonna do my best and and it's like, but I don't know. It almost seemed like an exasperated that everything's so crazy. It's so evil. I'm not going to tell you what, though, but we're going to totally do something about it. Like, you kind of had me in the first half, but you lost me in the second half, considering what was going on. So it's like, even for somebody like me, like, you pique my interest, because I'm like, oh, shit, is Dan actually, like, kind of revealing where he's at? Like, holy shit. And then you followed up with but we're totally going to do something about it. And you're like, yeah, no, you're not. Like, if you told me what it was, or maybe if you just left it at, like, holy shit, this is wild, and not even, like, a mission statement at the end, because then at least it opens up to, like, okay, at least he's being honest. I mean, I don't know. It shows dishonesty when it's like, but you're not going to do it. I mean, unless let's be real. I mean, maybe Dan's corpse will show up tomorrow and prove me wrong, but otherwise he's probably not doing a goddamn thing about it, or he'll resign. Honestly, at this point, these people, frankly, and this kind of goes to Tulsi as well, they should resign. They should, each and every single one of them, if they had a shred of dignity, they would resign. I'm sorry. We're talking about child rape rings. Child rape. Okay. I know we could go, ooh, look at Obama, look at Hillary, but hey. Child rape. Like, I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? And you're like, and you expect me to give a flying fuck that that Hillary was being conniving about emails. It's not 2016 anymore. Like, I already know this. And I'd care if I thought you were going to do something. No one really thinks you're going to do a goddamn thing. And I get it. It's not Tulsi's position because she doesn't run the DOJ. And to be fair, a lot of the stuff that's been coming from her recently, it actually seems like exactly what she should be doing. And then moving these documents to the DOJ and saying, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. Like that, it seems to be what her role is. But for one, between the Iran fiasco and then on top of that, even, let's be real, even the Epstein thing, the fact that these people aren't resigning in horror should tell you volumes. But let's hear more from old Agent MockingWhore here. Let's see what she has to say. Apparently she had some thoughts about Mockingbird, which is awfully goddamn ironic. So let's hear what she has to say.
The media being used as a propaganda mechanism, we saw it flatly. I mean, I think it's the smoking gun, quite frankly, of the Obamagate narrative and the Russiagate narrative, that it was so baked in that the New York Times and Washington Post went and ran with it. Some would say that that's part of Operation Mockingbird. Some would say that that's part of what we learned in the Church Committee, that the intel agencies were using media outlets as their mouthpieces, and that those mouthpieces would parrot the official narrative. And I wanted to ask you...
Oh, the mouthpieces of repeating official narratives? You don't fucking say Benny and Tulsi.
Is this operation still going on? Are you aware of the intel agencies working directly with media outlets in order to push...
What you don't know is she's literally jerking him off onto the table right now.
Prescribed narratives that may or may not be true.
Obviously, it's a joke for legal reasons.
It's something that we've already had to deal with, Benny.
And besides, we all know Benny's gay.
Within this administration, where there are people within the intelligence community who believe that their will is more important than the will of the American people, and will weaponize intelligence by leaking it to their friends within the mainstream media with the intent of undermining President Trump's agenda.
Which is sucking off Israel.
It is not one that he hasn't already talked about in every rally and town hall that he did throughout the campaign. I don't even know how many there were, but President Trump is enacting the very thing he promised the American people he would do in this election. So people in the intelligence community, they may agree, they may disagree. That's not the point here. As intelligence professionals, as people who work in the national security space, in the intelligence community, they are required to fulfill their mandate to their oath to the Constitution of the United States. And to the
goddamn, she's putting me asleep.
President of the United States, who was duly elected by the American people. Those who leak intelligence to their friends in the mainstream media with the intent of undermining the president who was elected by the American people. None of these intelligence professionals were. They are.
It's really weird how he asked her about Operation Mockingbird, and she somehow pivoted that to leaks within the intelligence community. Which, like, okay, to some degree, I guess it depends on what we're talking about, leaks here, but I don't know. Considering some of the scandals as of late, I don't know if that's maybe I don't know if that's the angle you really want to go here. And especially, it's weird to use it as like, if you're like, oh, Operation Mockingbird, that's crazy. They do that shit, right? And then you go, yeah, they shouldn't be leaking shit. And you're like, wait, what? Like, that's not what people are talking about when they're talking Operation Mockingbird. What they're talking about is a coordinated effort by the CIA and other intelligence communities in which they intentionally feed information to journalists, whether or not it's true, in order to enforce narratives, not to release damning information about a political figure. So see how they're playing this, I don't know, it's just, it's just silly.
Subverting the will of the people and therefore undermining the Constitution.
It's wild that you're still having to deal with that. Call it what you will. But Operation Mockingbird, just incredible that they were just out with it, that they were using the media as government.
What a weird way to, and it even still then goes, oh, like what she described is, what a weird way to try to rehabilitate Operation Mockingbird. Okay, wow, that's interesting. So it's literally they're trying to rehabilitate it as if, how do I put this, that it's not that Operation Mockingbird, some sort of semi-coordinated propaganda campaign by the CIA leaking information. No, it's instead it's rogue agents that don't like administrations and leak information to harm them. What a weird pivot. All right, let's keep going.
Organs to push propaganda, and it's still happening today.
This is why what we're doing is so important, Benny, and this is why President Trump's mandate in this is really critical. Is by exposing.
So they're still trying to play this thread of like we're fighting the deep state. You're like, dude, you're there. What are you talking about? Like clean house or something. Like what do you think? This is just, I'm useless. Cool. All right, then quit. Get out of there. I mean,
the truth by exposing the bad actors within the intelligence community and in the political space who are weaponizing intelligence to advance their own political interests is so important. To be able to turn the light on in places that have been dark for far too long, expose the truth, and drive accountability. That's the only way that we can actually shift this and begin the work to try to restore trust in the intelligence community.
All right. Well, I think that'll be it for today. Let's roll through the chat one last time, see what you guys got to say. Yeah. Crazy. That was, man, I'm glad I reacted that with you guys live, because that one was weird. Am I right? That's weird. Let's keep going. Tony Chin says the files likely expose the Epstein connections 9/11 as well. Far more implication than pizza parties. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Yeah, it wasn't. I think I've had a thread saved in my bookmarks for a while that I just meant to connect to something else at some point, where I believe Epstein was with. I wish I could remember the specific. I almost don't want to say it. I think Epstein was either with or one of the other people who were like the lucky people who managed to miss it and were supposed to be there one of those days or something. I forget the specific. I'll have to find it. There's some weird story in relation to Epstein and 9/11 too. So you're not wrong, Tony Chin. There's something there, I think. Real John Doe, is this operation still going on? Which one are you referring to? Yeah, old agent MockingWhore, new band name. Yep. Jerking off Bendy under the table is the spirit of Aloha. Yeah, Mockingbird's just a hoax, guys. Says Comment Mama. Yeah. All right. His direct next door neighbor. Is that what it is, Tony? Was that who it was? Because I know Lutnick was one of the lucky people who missed it, but was Epstein with him? I thought there's some sort of factoid about like that or something, or that Epstein was also supposed to be there or something. I forget it. John Black says, I miss the show mostly. Did anyone mention Gab AI being banned from AX or being J-pilled and the Jews were involved? No, I haven't. I had that saved bookmark, but I have a ton of bookmarks right now, considering as I just got back from vacation, so I had to prioritize somehow. So maybe they'll come up on Monday. I don't know. I'll see what's in the grab bag on that day. But yeah, so we might be covering it. Then Swedish Doom Goblin says Epstein's painting with Bush playing Jenga and a toy plane. That's a good point. Yeah, that one always did seem to be a little bit. Although wasn't that one like a fake that someone made or something? And it was just like, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. The Clinton dress I know for sure is legit. I'm not sure if the Bush one's legit. The Bush playing Jenga. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way. So Mockingbird's just being rebranded, says John Black. Exactly. Yeah, they're going to totally try to keep this branding of like the deep state's going after us while they're literally the deep state. It's going to be an interesting thing to see. Like, how long can you really just maintain this? Like, well, I'm just that weak that I just can't control my shit. So I don't know. Well, all right, guys, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. Old lady, I'm surprised she's not out here staring at me yet, being like, "Where are you fucking done yet? Are you fucking done?" But yeah, no outro today. I forgot to have one ready to go. But let's. I'll check. I'll see you guys later. I'll have a new. I know. It threw off my release schedule for my normal, like the paywalled episodes, the ones that are like, let's be real. This is more of like a stream show, the morning show here. And then we have the normal No Way Jose's. I've been trying to put out like 2 of those a week lately. You know, usually been on Monday and Friday. And obviously those are paywalled, and so that you can get them way earlier. But I threw off the release schedule with the strike, so I didn't put one out before I leave. But I'll have one coming out on Monday for you guys. So you'll have one of those. And then I also should be back with a morning dump. If I'm not, you'll at least have that. If I'm picking up a shift or something on Monday. But it was nice catching up with you guys. I have plenty more bookmarks to go through. Half tempted to try to maybe do a weekend one, but I don't know. I don't want to push it. It's been a lot. Get the old lady mad at me, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. I got plenty of shit I got to do around the house to make up for a time I was gone too. So, but I definitely did want to check in with you guys. So, but yeah. Lawrence says no one's buying the bullshit this time. LPR. See you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye, everyone. Alex Jones said he saw a Rothschild fingering himself in a painting. Holy shit. Okay, well that is Alex. So, to some extent, take that with a grain of salt. But I believe that's believable. Super believable. Especially when you understand like Podesta's art collection. So they love paintings. They do. Yeah, they are weirdos. They're really into that. Bye-bye, everybody. All right, I got to stop rambling. But yeah, I'll have another already. No Way Jose drop for you guys on Monday. I believe that's part 2 of the Dutroux stuff. But with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. If you like what I'm doing, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. What else I got? If you want to support me with money, which is the best way you can do it over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020, which I know I need to add like the Venmos and all the different stuff because I do have those. Whatever. I need to add those at some point because I know everyone keeps wanting to do those, and I'm not monetized on YouTube, so you can't drop super chats there. Actually, let me skim through Rumble, make sure it's not there. You guys always, don't forget, you guys can do that on Rumble as well if you want to give me money. But if you want to do subscription method, go over to patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. At that level, you get early access to the paywalled episodes. I usually do about 1 to 2 of those a week, about 4 behind the paywall at any given time. So it's weeks of paywalled content. You also get an ad-free RSS feed. You get access to the Telegram. And you can also get access to the pre-show and priority for the call-ins on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Also, the highest levels, my sponsors, I read them off every episode. A big thank you to them. My former co-host on Tower Gang at Learn to Toad, at Abrogate D's, at ZOVRACK, at _Infant Zeal, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Wine, big fan of the show, Tormate, at Wayne Taculus, and Jordan Pearson. And with that, guys, we are out of here. Love you all. I will see you again soon. Deuces. Bye-bye.